What's the crack? What's the bleeding story? How you all doing? Sorry I'm late. Completely my fault. I had to hang out the washing. I'm only messing. I don't know what the fuck I had to do. I'm late for my own funeral, as they say. But anyway, joining me tonight is me. I wouldn't even say me plastic paddy. He proved himself right on Warren's show the other night to have all these legends and the knowledge of Irish football stored. I'll say. What I call you, Paddy Manny or Manny Paddy? How are you doing?
Whatever I can't complain. Whatever you want to call me, that's fine by me. And yeah, I mean, look, the plastic paddy suits me just fine because look, they might have been born outside Ireland, but these players who are otherwise called plastic played their heart out for the country. And in fact, speaking of plastic paddy, you've got a Nigerian starting tonight in Michael Obafemi, and the other Nigerian, Chidozie Ogbene. I think both of them have actually been really, good finds for your team, and they've really been the most impressive performers during your World Cup qualifying campaign.
Yeah, 100%. Like Obafemi, like he done okay at Southampton, and now he's back with he's at Swansea, and he's doing okay there. Like I must actually check out his stats. But I just want to say hello to a few in the chat. Big up Craig, thanks a million for joining in. Luke is in the house. You good out, my car. What's that bleeding story? How you doing? Where's your bleeding videos? Get them bleeding out for us. Big up, mate. And Luca in there, friendly classic short. Thanks a million, bud. Had to get it online once I seen it. Just so many memories of this short. I should have had it on the other night, I suppose, but hell, never. But yeah, man. What you said? Look, Odegaard is starting here. Haaland, I think he's injured or something like that. Thank God, because Jesus Christ, I'd say we were in for a fucking big upset if he was around.
Yeah.
What are you making? Just sort of your thoughts tonight. What do you think?
Yeah, well, so far 4 minutes have just elapsed, and it's been rather cagey, to be honest. Norway, to Ireland's credit, they haven't really let Norwegians in so far. Although, as I speak, they're sort of coming down the flank right now. But like I said, I mean, if you're going to be behind me, I don't want to be a spoiler, yeah. And some good defensive work right now has sort of cleared that away. But and the worst part about the Norwegians wearing all white is it's very difficult to see their shirt numbers, so I can't really identify them. But obviously, as long as I have the Irish roster, I can identify these guys quite easily. And good to see Bazunu starting as well. And yeah, so far it's been quite cagey. So this is going to be a good test for us, with or without Haaland. I mean, how can I say us? It'll be a good test for Ireland with or without Haaland.
I know tonight you're us. You have to say you're us tonight. You're us tonight. I'm at 354 now, so if that helps you or whatever, I might.
Well, that means you're exactly 1 minute behind me, but don't worry about it. It's all good. So you're welcome to, say whatever you want to say and do your bit of commentary, and I'll just chime in. And so, as promised, mate, no spoilers.
Yeah, well, happy days.
And I'm about to just settle down with the drinks. So, as you would say, Sláinte.
Sláinte, good man. Just having me cup of tea here, warming up. I probably had a chance to go to the game tonight. I got one ticket, and I wanted to bring Zach anyway. And I was just like, fuck it, I'm not going on my own. I'd rather sit here and talk shite to people who listen to me.
Exactly.
But, look, I know it's a friendly, but Stephen Kenny needs to be taking these games serious for me because he's lost enough now. He hasn't won enough games. He needs to not lose this game for me anyway tonight. As I says, he's lost too many. He needs to start winning and getting ready for the qualifiers and stuff like that coming up. We've Malta next. I think it's on Monday or something like that. We're playing Malta, Mickey Mouse game. And I'm just gonna hold on. I just see one or two chats in here. Big up, Paul. Thanks a million for checking in. A very good evening to you all, Del Boy, Manny, Craig, and Luca. Big up to you, Paul. Odegaard will score tonight. Do you reckon? Yeah, I think that's probably Norway's biggest threat is Odegaard. I may be wrong, but it's a good challenge for Ireland, I think. Probably when Haaland isn't there, probably same level. We're at home. We should have advantage. We should be winning this. If you're the way that I look at these games at friendly, it's a chance for you to get your fucking name on the team sheet for the important games coming up. So there's no such thing as friendlies in international because you don't get enough time to sort of prove yourself on the international stage. And it's not only that, but it's the transfer window's opening up in January. If you're not doing it at your club, it's a chance for you to get in the shop window tonight and start proving to other managers in other leagues that you're well able to do it. Craig, just good evening, Paul. Ireland look after Odegaard. Let's hope they look after him a bit too, not too heavy on him, but knowing the Irish players will probably go in hard on him. Monia boys in green, well done predictions. Jaminho, I'll go 2-1 to Ireland. That's what I'll go. What's your prediction, Manny?
I'm actually hoping that Ireland will be able to do something well in this game as well, and I'm thinking a 2-1 should suffice. And it might be that Obafemi and Ogbeni could end up scoring both of the Irish goals. And you mentioned, of course, Del, that this could be a chance for some players to get onto the the shop window, as it were. I'm certainly looking at the likes of Matt Doherty, who's starting tonight as the right wing back in that right 5-man defence. He certainly will have a bit of a role to play as well in terms of trying to counter the Norwegian midfield. Basically, Norway are having a 4-4-2, and Odegaard, who is so incorrigibly left-footed, is playing on the right wing, a little bit like what Saka would be doing. Again, I'm really glad that yesterday when we had that on Tuesday when we had that video, we both agreed to put Chippy Brady on the left wing, because during his Arsenal career, he was sort of played either in the centre or he'd even come in on the right, and then cut in and use his left foot. But as a purist, I'm always a believer that if you are left-footed and have a beautifully cultured left foot, you belong on the left wing, you belong at left back, you belong on the left side of the front two or a front three. You cannot be coming in. But I guess, a lot of these managers think of it as a sort of a trend to try and produce another Salah incarnate, as it were. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you, man. Sorry, you just have a big patrol centre here. Cameras, lights, action, TV. There's food getting delivered to me and all. Me hairdresser's fucking late, so if you see the camera going blank, I'm just putting on my makeup and getting my hair done. Apologies for the statement.
You've got all that, haven't you?
Yeah, the work centre. I must take a bleeding video of it one day, or a picture or something like that. There's also a few bottles of whiskey and all here, so I'm not going to crack them open today. I've work tomorrow, so can't be doing that.
Don't even think about it. Although you could always celebrate with a pint if Ireland win, yeah?
Yeah.
When this is good for you,
Yeah, exactly.
Not to be promoting alcohol consumption. Drink responsibly.
Yeah, drink responsibly. Yeah, Jesus Christ. Jamino's in the chat. 100% Del. Imagine the outrage if McCarthy or O'Neill went 17 games without winning, or if they lost to the likes of Armenia, Luxembourg, and barely scraped the draw versus Azerbaijan. But Kenny gets a pass. That's 110% exactly what I'm talking about. I could not have put that better myself. So for me, the likes of this game, friendly and all this bollocks, if we get a fucking 2-0 beaten here tonight, it's not acceptable. It's not, and I don't care. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, how long does this project, whatever they're fucking going, not good enough for me. Paul, already looking forward to the Dennis Bergkamp show. Ireland won, Norway won. Yeah, if I only put it up there this evening, I'm doing a show tomorrow, a few guests on about Dennis Bergkamp, the professional career of Dennis Bergkamp and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to that 7:30 tomorrow night. So please hit the notification and stuff like that. And hit the like button and all that. And please subscribe if you're not subscribed, and like and share and fucking whatever you want. Oh, here's trouble here. Gavo, what's that bleeding story? Me mate Cork. And come here, I love your little emoji thing there. That is fucking class, mate. I love it. All Kenny has done is bring in youth. Fair enough, the squad has improved, but why can't the results improve? At least we could qualify for the Euros and reach the World Cup playoffs under O'Neill. Jamino, you're in my bleeding head, and you must have a fucking spare room in it. But here, you're paying fucking rent. Where's me rent? That's exactly it. I'm telling you now, Jamino's on the ball here. Fucking 110%. Evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. No Duffy in the squad. No, he's fucking, I think he's coming down here to do a live stream with me and Manny.
I hope so. I mean, I wouldn't mind having a crack with him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Senegal striker Manny out of the World Cup due to a leg injury. Yeah, I feel sorry for him. I really do. Like, any professional footballer who was, like, let's say, done it for their country and stuff like that, and then to get an injury coming into a World Cup or a Euros or whatever it is, I feel sorry for him. And also for the World Cup as well. Like, you want to see the best players on show. You know what I mean? What do you make of Mane?
Well, Sadio, I do. I mean, obviously his decision to move to Bayern Munich was the correct decision for him. And he obviously wanted to, prove himself at a bigger club. He's done quite well and also shown how much Liverpool really miss him. So for him to miss out in a way, it's awful. It really is. Any player who misses out is always, considered very unlucky. It's amazing. You could actually form almost a squad of 22 players who might be forced to miss the World Cup due to injury. I can think of a few goalkeepers who won't be there. Ghana's goalkeeper, Wallacott, who is, of course, Thomas Partey's teammate, won't be there. I think he broke his finger while playing for Charlton Athletic. And there was another goalkeeper, Maxime Crepeo, who would be on Canada's roster, but sadly he had a horrific fracture when they played the MLS final. I think it was his LA Galaxy team, LAFC team, which played the final. And that was, of course, the match where Gareth Bale came on as a sub and scored deep into extra time to win that cup. So, I mean, of course, it's kind of nice in a way because Bale's won trophies everywhere he's gone, except for Tottenham.
Yeah. Well, I think Bale is back, isn't he?
Yeah, he's in the squad. He's been picked by Robert Page, along with the likes of Wayne Hennessy, Aaron Ramsey, and others. So, yeah, they're in Qatar right now, and these I don't even know what warm-up games they're going to play. So the decision of who will be starting in goal ahead of Danny Ward and Wayne Hennessy will be a question. For me, I go with Hennessy. That playoff performance obviously showed his finer qualities. Ward would never have been able to make the saves that he would have made. And when he played for Nottingham Forest in the Carabao Cup against Tottenham, he was actually quite brilliant. He commanded the defence magnificently. The saves he did have to make, one of them against Matt Doherty, who's playing tonight, were absolutely brilliant. You want to have a goalkeeper who can stay, inactive for about 89 minutes, and then suddenly when he's called on to pull off a save, he does that. I don't believe Danny Ward has that quality in him, so I want to see Hennessy starting. And of course, there was an interesting feature on BBC Sport about a Welshman who did make it to Italian 90, a certain Kevin Sheedy, who I had picked as my left winger. Not left winger, left... I was considering him as my left winger, but then I had to defer to Chippy Brady, of course. But Sheedy's story was quite wonderful in a way, and you could read about that. And yeah, still no attacks on shots on goal, and neither Oyen Neeland or Gavin Bazunu have had to make a save. So it's still very cagey, and I think both teams are just prepared to play the wait and see game so far. And about Kenny, you're absolutely right. But I want to ask you this. You'll know that Kenny actually came in when Mick McCarthy was pushed aside. If you were head of the FAI and you had the decision to either keep McCarthy on to finish the Euro qualifiers or bring Kenny in, would you have kept McCarthy in or brought Stephen Kenny inside?
Don't get me wrong, Stephen Kenny done a great job he was in the under-21s. And he done a brilliant job, really good, and I have to give it to him. He did, and a few of these under-21 squads are coming through now. But before then, he was managing the League of Ireland and stuff like that. So that's the reason why the FAI gave him the role of the under-21s international manager. He was there for a few years while Mick sort of took the reins of the senior. And they had an agreement, obviously we know, that Stephen Kenny takes over whenever he took over. But I remember having the conversation with my friend at the time, and we were sort of going, well, Mick is doing the job at the minute. He wasn't pulling up trees or anything like that, but he was getting results. Why change that? So Stephen Kenny wasn't going to turn around and go, oh, well, hold on a minute, I'm off. Well, come on off then, fuck off. Do you know what I mean? We had Stephen Kenny all along. He wasn't going to go anywhere else. You should have kept a hold of Mick for the campaign that Stephen Kenny was in charge of the Euros there. They should have kept him on and just goes, look, we're happy enough with Mick. Why change it? It seems to be working. There's a chance Mick can actually get us through rather than hold on a minute, we'll just give this new fella a go. If it doesn't work out, the Irish fans have to wait another 2 years for any competition to enter. You know, I thought it was the wrong decision. That's personally my view. It's probably not the right one. I don't know, but that certainly is mine. And I'll get your view in a minute. I just want to read out one or two comments here. Solo, big up to you, mate. Thanks for joining us. Jamino, I'm happy someone's on the same page as me, Del Boy. Arteta and Kenny fanboys are the exact same, for fuck's sake. What else? Mr. B, there he is. What's the story? Are you all right? Big up Del and Mane. Better be careful, you Irish don't score in your own net, mate. They do everything backwards.
That's a cheap shot. Come on.
I'll let him take it because no, Mr. B, in fairness, I've been giving him a lot of sticks, so he deserves that one. Now, that's the only one. I'll come hard at you the next time.
Yeah. You better do that, mate. Do that. Both barrels.
Yeah.
Don't forget both barrels.
I'd go with Hennessy too, man. Obviously talking about the Welsh there. Della Mane, you won't be getting Tony from us now as man is done for match betting. Yeah, what do you make of that actually, Mane?
It's stupid, really. I mean, like, I don't even know what would have prompted him to do something like that. And I know a few other guys got caught and ended up, I don't know if any of them have served time in the Nick from what I know, but getting involved in any form of gambling, I mean, I don't know. Was he, not too confident about his career going further? I really don't know. And, for him to suddenly do that, because it's all the more saddening because he was carving a career for himself. And so how he will recover from this, will he actually get to play again? It's going to be really hard to say. And I suppose in many ways we've dodged a bullet because if Southgate had named him in the England squad and this ended up coming up, what would have happened to him? He would have been forced to give up that dream and let Wilson come in anyway. But it's hard to see where he goes from this. He might possibly be banned for quite some time, made to serve his, sentence, if you will, by doing some anti-corruption education courses and then maybe come back into the team. And this is where the cricket connection comes in because obviously during the late 90s, starting from then and going a bit forward, match fixing became a lot more common. We even had a version of it called spot fixing where certain play was would be certain plays would be fixed. And this most of these people who get involved in these illegal activities are invariably people who don't come from wealthy backgrounds. Money is in probably short supply for them anyway, and they feel as though, given their financial issues, they may need a little bit of dosh on the side to help them get by, and that's all the more saddening. And that's one of the reasons why there should be something done to nip this in the bud. Maybe from next season, all players will be asked to sign an agreement by which they agree not to get themselves involved in any activities, or if they receive any approaches, they must report that immediately. And this is where cricket is taking the strides it needs to take, and football can definitely follow suit, in my opinion.
And that's the thing. Like, why can't someone in the football sort of lawmaking sort of thing actually look at cricket and just go, okay, this is what they're doing over there. It's working. Why can't we do it?
I agree. Go ahead, Del.
This comes down to common sense, really. Like, you know what I mean? If it works for other people, why not try it yourself? Or stuff like that. I just don't get it. But look, football, they have fucking weird way of doing things. I'm just trying to. Excuse me, Jamino. Tá sé Stephen Kenny Amadon agus tá sé Jason Malumba ú Fashik. Stephen Kenny is an idiot and Malumba was terrible. Jamino, please tell me if I'm out of balls of that. I'm shite at Irish. Ivan told me will respond by making another bet.
So, growing up, didn't you get to study Gaelic in school, or was it all English for you?
No, I did, yeah, but the teacher used to kick the shit out of me, so I just used to learn it, you know what I mean? So that's the way it was.
Irish schools.
Telling you now. Paul, Wales at a World Cup since 1958. Hope they do us proud. It's been so long. I hope they do as well. I mean, in fairness, Paul, they're my neighbours, so I will be rooting for you, and I hope you do well, because it's good to see, like, your neighbours doing well and stuff like that. But yeah, I'll definitely be rooting for you. I'll be keeping it
I love
going.
that mentality. I love that mentality, Dale. And we're just taking a look at some action being there, but again, nothing really on target. You can see for
Yeah,
yourself. You're a minute behind me.
yeah.
Again, no spoilers. But I love that mentality, because I do remember in '94, of course, when no UK team made the World Cup in the US, we were all behind Jack's army, and it was wonderful to see. Paul McGrath, Ray Houghton, Packy Bonner and company, do as well as they did. And especially when Houghton scored that goal against Italy, I was also,
Wow.
buzzing. Of course, the loss to
Yeah.
Mexico was a bit of a disappointment, but then we got the draw we needed to go to the second stage. And that's the thing about Ireland in many ways. I would perhaps say that the Italian 90 and maybe to some extent the USA 94 teams had, champions or cup winners in almost every position. When it came to McCarthy's side, which went to Japan and Korea 2002, it was mostly a bunch of youngsters and, of course, the old heads in Staunton and Quinn and a few others. And so, I mean, many of them were unproven. I know that Robbie Keane was a part of the under-18 squad, I think, which won the European Championships not too long before. But it was still mainly a set of boys who gelled together quite well, in a few previous campaigns and obviously during the qualifiers. So, that's one of the reasons why I think McCarthy, given that comparative strength, the comparative strength of that squad to the ones at Italia 90, USA 94, I think McCarthy actually did a much better job. And certainly, when you take a look at his record in 2002, I think he had 1 win and 3 draws, whereas Jackie had something like, I want to say, 3 draws in the group, 4 draws and 1 defeat in Italia 90, and also a win, 2 defeats, and a draw. So in open play, McCarthy was unbeaten. So I mean, you can talk about calculations and so forth, and there's always a complaint that McCarthy should have perhaps had a different selection in mind. I mean, why he was willing to pick McCarthy and Moran over Lawrenson and O'Leary. I mean, he pretty much said it. He wanted a specific job to be done, and he didn't think Lawrenson and O'Leary would do that, but McCarthy and Moran did, that they could do that. And
Yeah.
obviously, for the style of play he wanted, he got results. So, but anyway, I mean, like now it's of course a new era, and I'm not too sure. The fact that Stephen Kenny is still, being trusted. Aren't there any other Irish coaches who couldn't do a good job? I mean, obviously Brian Kerr came in and didn't do too badly at all. Why hasn't he been sounded for a possible return?
I just think that he sort of left worse than when Mick left, if you know what I mean. Now I'd take a shot. I remember Chris Hughton. He was at Newcastle, like, you know what I mean.
I remember Hughton.
Yeah, I'd take him. Or like, I maybe if when I say this name, if you're drinking a cup of tea or taking a drink, you might spit it out. What you call Sean Dyche, shoestring budget. He always got results, and I think at international level, if you like, we have managers that could upset big teams, like hold them and hold them and hold them. It's 0-0, and then try to get a sneaky goal at the end and win. That's what international football is basically about. You know what I mean? I suppose bring back the old Mick days or something like that, but not long ball, but you know what I mean? They're probably 2 managers that I'd look at anyway. Like, I'm just trying to think top of my head. I can't think of anyone else, but Irish managers, not really many out there at the minute, not for me anyway.
Yeah.
This game anyway, it's still 0-0, and there was a few chances there for Norway. Bazuma, do you think he got a touch to that, or?
No, he didn't. He didn't. That was sort of blasted over the bar. He couldn't get a fingertip to that, and the referee quite rightly ordered a goal kick for that. It was actually his error that led to that shot, because it was a poor pass that which was intercepted, and so he would have been at fault over there. And it is good to see Bazunu playing for Southampton, but the problem is he's getting a lot of goals pumped past him. But obviously, Queeman Kelleher coming back, that also gives you some options. And of course, you've got Mark Travers, who's come back into the first team picture over at Bournemouth. So I think that you
Yeah.
start quite well. And taking a look at this team, obviously you've got the likes of Jeff Hendrick and James McLean who are on the bench. So Kenny's right to actually, and Coleman, of course, don't forget. So Kenny is quite right to, you know, give youngsters a chance in this game and sort of see how they perform, and obviously, you know, see how well they can do. And he could always bring them on as replacements. But with Coleman, he's been troubled by injuries. He hasn't played regularly for Everton of late. Do you think that his best days as an Irish international are behind him?
Yeah, yeah. Like I do like the like Jeff Hendricks, as well. Yeah, I think it's time to change because if Stephen Kenny's going to do it, look at the group that we have as well coming up. Was it Spain and fucking who else is it? There's not a hope we're getting out of there now. With the way we're playing, the tactics. If you want to just breed in new players, right, breed them in. But do we have a leader to lead them? I think these players are starting to sort of, let's say, the older guys now need to probably push on because they're not good enough. They're probably going down as well, leagues and stuff like that as well. It's not good enough. We don't have. The thing about it is, like with Irish football, we used to have players that played for Man United, for Liverpool and the top teams. Seamus Coleman is the highest, I think, at fucking Everton. In the league. Basum as well, Southampton, but they're down the bottom of the league. Let's say our best players are at the bottom of the Premier League, that sort of level, and then the Championship and even lower. We don't have Irish players now in the Champions League. That's where we're at. We have to breathe in new players. We have to, it all starts at grassroots football. They have to get it right, the FAI. They I don't know if they're I don't know if it's good enough what they're doing. Being honest with you, when I'm talking about this is what Belgium done was they when you're a child. Now I know this because I manage underage teams. So let's say now you have a kid. He was born on the 1st of January. We'd say he was 10 in the 1st of January. He's under 10s all the way around a full year. But let's say there's a kid that was born on the 31st of December in the same year. He's 1 year full behind the guy a few days, he's turned a year older than him. You know what I mean? But what the Belgium team done was they split the league, or they split the age group down the middle. So the first 6 months, if you were born the 1st of January till was at the end of June, that's your league you're in. And then from June around to December, the end of December. So the difference of the kids growing up, you know what I mean? It's huge. That's what Belgium done this. I was reading an article on it. They've done this. And look at them now. They were a few years ago, 2 years ago, they were probably number 1 team ranked in the world. They might win the World Cup, but I'm telling you now, for how many million do they have? I don't know in their country. But, look at Croatia as well. The exact same size as Ireland, the same population and stuff like that. They got into the Euros final there, 2 years ago?
Yeah. World Cup finalists in 2018, and also in 1998 they were third place finishers. So that's interesting what you've mentioned, and so keep talking. I want to hear more.
Yeah, so I don't want to hear the excuse. But Dell, we're a small country and we have a population of this. So what? We have a population, okay, that are next door to let's say the Premier League. So who have a ticket to get into the Premiership club, get top of the range training facilities. Whereas if you're in Croatia or you're somewhere like that, we'll use Croatia. They have it hard to come through, let's say, the smaller European leagues, build up and try to get to a world stage. You know what I mean?
Yep.
This is why I don't want to hear excuses all the time. Just fucking let's do something about it. It's so annoying.
Yeah, and I think the problem is in Ireland as well. When you take a look at the sporting culture over there, I still believe that Gaelic sports, despite not being widespread, that seems to take a lot more preference, ironically. So It's also amazing, and I think our Antipodean friend Steve-O, the Aussie Gooner, can testify. He's a huge fan of Aussie rules. Aussie rules is not too dissimilar to Gaelic football in many ways. So invariably, you have a situation where they have something called international rules football, where Australia and Ireland play. But what I'm saying
Yeah,
is, with Gaelic football and other Gaelic sports still ruling the roost, I still think the majority of the population still look down for some reason on football and maybe not so much rugby, because obviously they enjoy their rugby a great deal, but football certainly. When you have a situation where a large number of Irish players are in fact born and brought up outside Ireland and haven't been schooled in the Irish, youth setup in a way, and many of
yeah,
them use their some. I mean, in the case of the Nigerians, it might be residency, and in case of some other players, it might be ancestry.
yeah,
Maybe some players will feel as though, um, why should we play this sport which has players coming in who can't, whom we can't really relate. It was different when Jack was managing the team, because obviously the team was successful and that was a team behind which a lot of people could get, and it just goes to show that nothing succeeds like success. But when you have a situation, of course, where the team is going through a bit of a barren run and not quite able to make it no matter how hard they try, it can breed some form of disillusionment. And even with O'Neill, he still had the likes of Robbie Keane and John O'Shea and Shay Given, who sort of are coming to the end of their careers. But he also did bring a lot of players through. I think Robbie Brady's on the bench tonight. He came through quite wonderfully during the qualifiers and the main tournament. I saw that goal he scored against Italy was also amazing. I think, if you get to play Italy in a major tournament, you need to ask them if they can, play them every week. But
yeah.
yeah, but it's like, again, there has to be a lot more investment, I think, in the youth setup back in Ireland. Obviously, the League of Ireland, and I think if more can be done to increase television coverage, perhaps that could maybe be a start. I mean, certainly with an Irish diaspora living in the UK, of course, if
Yeah.
they can get coverage of some League of Ireland games, be it whether it's some Shamrock Rovers or Bohemians or
Well,
Sligo Rovers or anyone else who's playing, that can also help, because at least you can build something beyond the borders, if you will.
I'll tell you, like, you've hit the nail right on the head there, Manny, because this is what frustrates me. If I'm the FAI, I'm going over to the likes of Sky Sports and stuff like this. Excuse me, Sky Sports done it for the GAA. They were playing their games and stuff like that. The League of Ireland is played through the summer. So when the Premier League is off, people who love football would watch a game of, like, let's say on a Friday evening or a Saturday or whatever. Of course they would. You know what I mean? They're missing out a big chance. They're stuck with RTE and just thinking, oh, this money will do us, whatever. Fuck RTE. Go over to Sky, go over to BT and just go, here, lads, we have a fucking league on here. All right. When the Premiership closes, let's do a few fucking live games. Give it a fucking go for one summer or something like that, or a few months. See if you get the ratings in. Because what else are they putting on Sky anyway? Everyone's just putting on Sky Sports News just for the sake of it. They're starved of football.
Mate, that's brilliant. You just nailed it. I mean, it can also help by providing an even broader shop window for clubs to look at Irish talent in a way, and also it can introduce a lot more fans in the UK to the Irish game, because that is one thing which Irish football needs. Obviously, when it comes to rugby and even golf. I mean, rugby, of course, the Irish team plays. It's a united team, and there's the British and Irish Lions. The golfers are also extremely famous, and there's so much that can be done for Irish football. But I think the FAI needs someone who can really crack down and say, look, we need to do more to develop everything. And that's why I really do believe that a lot of these former players who aren't playing anymore need to come back to the FAI and sort of strip it down, go back to basics, as it were. I mean, certainly after everything that happened with John Delaney all those years ago, and how it was the FAI was almost effectively bankrupted. I mean, you're going to need some. It's all. I'd like to think it's almost recovered, but help is needed. Help is needed.
Yeah, 100%. Because, see, it's just like the sort of the way Arsenal is run, if you know what I mean. These guys, I don't know what they do in the summer or on their break off now. Like the league is over now. What are they doing? You know what I mean? They're not exactly, Ireland's not a tropical country, so they're not out on their fucking sunbeds and they're pleating underpants, sunbathing or anything like that. You know, let's get things done. Ring up Sky, ring up BT, even fucking ring up American fucking TV or so. Like, you know what I mean? Do something. But no, we'll sit back and we'll just take in the money. It wrecks my head. You know what I mean? And I'd love to fucking say it to them. And funny enough, I met John Delaney. I'll tell you, he was lucky. I think he was about a week away from all the scandal being released, and he met me. And he is one lucky guy. He didn't meet me after that was released, that he took all the money and stuff like this, because I tell you, I would have fucking robbed him myself. Threw him onto the ground. Give me your wallet. We're going down to the bank machine, withdrawing money. Now, no violence, please. No violence on anyone, and I don't wish it on anyone at all. But no, I would have definitely got a hold of him and had a chat with him anyway, you know.
Mate, the Taoiseach and the president need to launch an inquiry into that and send him into the nick. I'm sorry.
See,
he's got to go.
The thing about it is, man, this is Ireland. We're the most corrupt country in Europe anyway. 110%, because there's fucking dickheads here. That if I could do a politics show, by the way, and I could start naming these clowns. And one clown, actually, right, I was cooking me dinner there on a Saturday, right, and he came to me door. I won't name the party, the fucking party. All right, it was the Social Democrats. They knocked at me door, and I was actually wearing this T-shirt, and he knocked at me door, and he was trying to give me a leaflet, and I just says, "Remove yourself from my property now before I get me shotgun." And he just walked off. And don't worry, I don't have a gun. I was just messing with him.
Top man. Yeah, lucky him.
Yeah. You know, yeah, look, we'll talk about that another day. Ronaldo said he wants Arsenal to win the Premier League. Oh, did he? I wasn't aware of that, but lovely if you did.
Oh, yeah, the interview's going on. That's part 2.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Oh, do you know what? I didn't even see the 4, so I'm going to wait for the 2 of them to be on, and then I'll just watch it myself and give me prediction.
By all means. It'll be on YouTube under Piers Morgan Uncensored. Yesterday, I went to the Talk TV website and watched it. So, Warren's team talk in the building. Evening, sir. How are you?
Big up, Warren. And please do check Warren's channel now. And I'm telling you now, on a Saturday, he does the fucking best show. This fucking Gillette Soccer Saturday on this fucking Sky Sport. Get fucking rid of that shite. Watch fucking Warren's team talks. I'm telling you now, it's the best. And I love when a goal goes in and the fucking fireworks are going off and all. We have all sorts of entertaining on that he does. It's absolutely class.
My personal favourite is, of course, when there's a booking or a dismissal. You're booked, son.
Yeah. I seen that last Saturday. It was very funny, actually. I wonder, is that Warren's voice that's doing that, or I wonder who it is. If you're there, Warren,
it's someone else. It's someone else. I think it might be someone who's uttered that dialogue before, and he's got the recording of that. So, yeah. I actually caught the first part yesterday, and I did a stream on that afterwards with this channel, RS Talks Football, and we were talking about it. I was trying to be diplomatic. And, if you decide to do a video on that, I don't know if you're going to do a live reaction, but I think one thing I'll tell you right now is I get a lot of Roy Keane vibes from that interview. It's sad to say, but you get an idea of why Roy Keane was so quick to defend Ronaldo, because obviously he sees a lot of himself in Ronaldo.
Yeah, like he has the Ronaldo has the he respects Roy Keane, who doesn't really, you know what I mean? But I'm just seeing this goal. Yeah, I'm just seeing this goal here now. So we're 1-0 down, Ireland. Yeah. Okay, just let me digest this, man. You can talk there.
Yeah, so I
think hold on. I think I'm gonna get a fucking punching bag in this place and just beat the shit out of it. No one marking him. Jesus Christ. He just runs it, runs in. Who was that he ran in ahead of?
So look, it might have been Doherty, I'm not too sure. I mean, I completely let that go by, and on second thought, it might have been Johnny Egan who he ran past.
Yeah. Fuck's
And
sake.
that's a risk when you play a back five and a middle three, because obviously you think that the back five would be a lot more solid, but with the wing back sort of bombing up, it's almost effectively a back three. So you're asking a lot of both Doherty and who's the wing back here in this case? It's not Bjorkan, it's Brown. Alan Brown. You're asking a bit too much of them, really, to sort of, keep coming forward and then having to go back. And, the thing about playing three at the back with wing backs is that it either looks really good or it looks really clumsy. If you don't have the players to pull it off, it's clumsy.
Yeah. Like, I understand what he's trying to do. You know what I mean? I do understand it, but like, I think Trapattoni even said it. We don't have the players for this. As I said earlier on the stream, we have our top players are the low end of the Premier League. And we fucking handful. We can count them on our fucking one hand. You know what I mean? We have to do it another way. This is not working. How many fucking games, someone please tell me, has he after losing? You know what I mean? And I like Stephen Kenny as a human. He is a nice guy. Nice guys don't win you fucking fuck all. And I'm sorry for Corson and everyone else, but I get worked up over this shit. It's fucking doing me head in now.
No, don't apologise.
I'll read one or
That's
two
why
of
I
these.
wanted to come on here. I wouldn't have you any other way.
Cheers, mate.
And you can just see the domination. The graphic will be coming up. Norway have had 7 attempts to Ireland's 1. I think, to be fair, that goal was probably the only shot they had on target because Bazunu didn't have to make a save. There was, of course, a cross that was whipped in by Odegaard earlier. And this is sort of a game where Odegaard might perhaps shine, because one thing you notice about international football, Del, is that there are a lot of gaps left in the pitch. So there is obviously a lot of scope for players like Odegaard to sort of exploit those gaps and maybe do their thing. In the Premiership, it's not so open. You see people on each other. Even now, if you take a look, you see the way the ball's being played. You don't see the Norwegian players rushing really so close to the Irishmen to try and get the ball away from them. And there are always going to be a lot of gaps, and that's sort of what slows it down a little bit. But sometimes if it's slow, it means that you're trying to almost play a game of chess and try and strategize a lot more. Whereas sometimes if it's a lot more open and more physical, it could be a bit more tactical and more rough and tumble in a way. But a lot of people, look at Irish international football with contempt, but I love international football. I started watching international football, of course, with Italia 90 before watching club football and watching Arsenal. So, obviously this is something which I enjoy, and it's something which is really close to my heart personally.
Yeah. I'm just fucking looking at, like, even Carl, can you hear me? Carl, I was going to say Callum Robinson. Like, fuck me, he's given a chance here this evening, and he has to work harder. He's fucking walking around the bleeding pitch and fucking throwing arms in the air. Like, at least when Robbie Keane done that, he done something about it. He went in the attack, he scored, he put pressure on them. He's fucking strolling around here thinking, look at me blonde hair. Fucking dye your hair back to it bleeding normal, yeah? Pull up your socks and start fucking playing football. Bleeding hell, like, wait, what has he fucking done this season? He's in the championship or whatever. You know what I mean? The Premiership is where you want to be. Start working a bit harder. Fuck's sake.
I agree.
Brendan Rodgers. Oh, yeah, he was talking about the managers. It's France, Netherlands, Greece, and Gibraltar, not Spain. Let me see. Come on, these things are slow popping up here for some reason.
Well, I mean, France and Netherlands do look strong teams on paper, but Neil Lennon,
he's
Northern Irish. Yeah. Obviously, Rodgers, I don't think will be considered now because he's recovered well with Leicester. But if he decides to move away from Leicester at the end of the season, thinking that he's done all he could, I mean, he'd be a good shout. Another Northern Irishman managing the Republic of Ireland. Worked with O'Neill. Why not with Rodgers? And of course, Neil Lennon's also Northern Irish, but he's Northern Irish Catholic. And Roy Keane, Mr. B, no.
The guys just saying hello to each other. Just want to put a few of these. Get Jimmy Cricket. If you do a fucking job in this
Jimmy Cricket. Oh God.
And this yeah.
Yeah, I can just imagine him standing there
It's
in his
the
bowler
coaching.
hat, giving a
Yeah,
team
I suppose that's a
Steve
good
Morgan
point
saying,
Warren's making there.
yeah, your internet's freezing up, mate. I think it's a bit slow tonight, yeah? So he says it's the coaching, eh?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine, but I think your video is frozen.
I think you fucking know I'm going mad. That's what the problem is.
Yeah, maybe it's the internet's way of saying, Del, calm down, calm down. We still have 45 minutes.
Can you hear me okay now?
Well, I can hear you fine. Don't worry about that. It's all good. It's not about whether I can hear you. It's sometimes you're a bit, the transmission's a bit slow. So don't worry about it. It's all good. It'll settle soon. I mean, yeah. Niall had those issues when he was doing the get Slaven Bilic to head up youth development. Decent shout, perhaps.
Yeah, I'd nearly rather him over Kenny in charge. Big up, Sam. How you doing, buddy? Thanks for tuning in. Me Welsh mate, me Welsh brother, traveling all over Europe and all. He is testing beers and fucking. He was in Romania there only a while ago, and I've seen him in that. Fair play to you, mate. I'm trying, yeah. Jam, come on, Ireland. That's it. Come on, you bastards. Fucking 2-1 now we need, for fuck's sake. Jesus Christ. I said 2-1 at the start, I suppose, you know. The upper tier, big up everyone. Odegaard pulling the strings. Yeah, I don't know if Niall, this is Niall. I don't know if he's trying to wind me up now or what. But yeah, I suppose he's doing a job at the minute. They're 1-0 up, you know. But is he pulling the strings, do you think, from what you've seen?
Not really, because if you take a look at the goal, I don't think he had much involvement over there. It sort of came in from the left, so I don't really think he had that much involvement there. He's whipped in a few good crosses, and obviously he's found some spaces and a few passes, but I wouldn't necessarily say he's pulled the strings, so to speak. But,
yeah,
you know, I mean, obviously Norway are 1-0 up. They're not going to look a gift horse in its mouth. It was the central defender, Leo Østigard, who scored that. So, yeah, obviously, I mean, you know, with this 4-4-2 they've got going on, they've been able to dominate the midfield and find a few spaces. So it's looking a little bit difficult. He might need to make some changes. The only question is, I don't know who he can possibly bring on. Let's see the bench. He does have Robbie Brady. He does have James McLean. He does have Jeff Hendrick. And obviously, Chidozie Ogbene can come on, as well as Dara Lenihan and Liam and a few others. So, obviously, Coleman might perhaps come on as a replacement for Doherty to sort of maybe tidy things up a bit. But what I really would like to have seen Stephen Kenny do is sort of play Doherty as the sort of a right winger, as it were, and go to that 4-4-2 himself, instead of starting with a 5-2-3. Because again, it looks as though with Odegaard and that team, and also directing a few passes, they're sort of dominating the midfield. That's a bit of a worry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't mind seeing Ogbene coming on, because I'll tell you, I like him when he comes on. He puts it in. He's a good player. He's playing for Rotherham United. I don't know how, and that's no disrespect to them. Like, he is, even their fans. I was looking on a fan forum or something like that, and they were talking about him going, the last sort of few internationals, and he scored a goal and stuff like that. I think he scored 2 or whatever. But yeah. he done brilliant. He done excellent. And they were even saying, like, going, he's gone now in the summer and he's still there. Fair play to him. I don't know if it's him being loyal to them, but, you know, he certainly could be in let's say, be in the Premier League. Anyway, I think, you know, for the team, definitely. An early shout. Come on, Paul. An early shout to smash the like button up. Please do, guys. It'll help me channel, and fucking it'll probably settle me fucking nerves here as well. Big up, Niall. How are you doing, Niall? Niall's from Scotland. I hope you're not fucking over here now, bleeding, slacking the bollocks out of me because we're losing. Big up, Niall. Big up, mate. Just going through. Evening, Niall. You well? Yeah. The up there, if Rovers were playing in me back garden, I'd pull the curtains. You traitor, you traitor. Oh, stop. Good man, Niall. Big Sam is the Ireland manager. Jesus Christ. Well, I'll tell you, Jesus Christ. Every time we're looking for a manager, his name is always in the pot. It's always in the pot. You know what I mean? So even if Kenny got sacked now tomorrow, I'll tell you, you'd hear Big Sam linked with the job. Probably wouldn't get it, but, you know, Gav, in Europe, we're the most corrupt in the world by far. There you go. Me and Gav on the ball here. 1-0. Fuck's sake. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. I was thinking I heard something down the Wexford region of Ireland. I heard fucking giving out and shouting and screaming. Big up to Del Boy. I wouldn't miss tomorrow's show for the world. See you tomorrow night, mate. Exactly. And please do check out tomorrow night. I'm doing the Dennis Bergkamp show. Just looking into his career and stuff like that. And I'll have a few people on and we'll be talking about it. Looking forward to it. 7:30. I'll have a few beers here and we'll be just chatting away, having the crack and seeing what the story is and going reminiscing through the bleeding legend that was Dennis Bergkamp. And before we go, Manny, I just want you to sort of have a chat of your take on Dennis Bergkamp, because I know you can't make it tomorrow night, unfortunately. But well, I'd love to hear your say about him towards the end of this stream.
You'll get it. You'll get that and more.
Yeah.
And you know, the reason why, of course, is because I didn't get to see him play during his early years, so I didn't want to come on and, you know, not do the stream justice. But obviously, if people have seen him since he arrived in '96, and of course going forward, they'd be the best ones to really talk. I saw him play in the early 2000s, but then he retired in 2006, so that wouldn't really be enough to do him justice. So. Yeah, enjoyed the stream. I will catch it on playback. I'm not going to miss that. And obviously, hearing you and a lot of other people speak about him, that would be good. The troublemaker and the teacher.
Oh, yeah, well, here. Yes, here. I'm not the fucking teacher, anyway. Big up, Kings. I hope you're well, mate. I think he's right.
I'm no teacher. I'm just a student, and I try to share everything.
No, you're not. You're a bleeding legend. I should probably invest in a punch bag as well. Broke loads of things out in rage. Exactly. I'm fucking telling you, Jesus. I'm not really, to be honest with you, I don't throw stuff around. I remember years ago when Arsenal got knocked out of Europe, I'm trying to think of the game, and I was only a young fella. I was about 16 and I was watching the game in my parents' house, like, you know, obviously, you know, and I remember what was it? I think it was when David Seaman got chipped by Naeem. And I think
the Cup Winners' Cup final.
Yeah. I fucking booted the door down and I there was a little bit of glass, like, you know, on the door, and that went shattered. Well, I tell you, I nearly got done the Superman out the window. My dad nearly fucking bet me around the place. You know, so not only did we lose that game, but I nearly bleeding lost my life as well.
Yeah, Irish fathers, of course, are strict that way. But,
yeah,
you know, I mean, that match was all tragic because I do believe Arsenal had an edge in penalty kicks if it had gone to penalty kicks. But, of course, to be knocked out, to be defeated by a Tottenham reject. Rubbing salt into the wounds right there.
Oh, exactly. It's fucking odd. Because I remember at the time, you're right. It was like, you know, I was sort of nearly settling back, right, we're going into penalties, this is it, you know, and then next thing, fucking, hold on, where's this ball going? And Seaman trying to bleed. Oh, sickening. Absolutely sickening. We play back 10. Yeah, we might as well play a bleeding back 10 the way we are now. As it says there in the stats, 7 shots to Norway, 1 to Ireland. I don't even think we had a shot on target, being honest with you. I'll let the chat decide. Sorry, I'm not sure what's going on there. Ten Hag
he was talking about the earlier question of who the troublemaker and the teacher would be.
Oh, right.
King, to answer your question, King, we've decided Dell's the troublemaker, I'm the teacher.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Ten Hag has a Ronaldo punch bag now. Yeah, I'd say so. Jesus Christ, making him look bad. Del Boy, we are absolutely dork, mate. Wouldn't beat St. Pat's. Come here. Fucking exactly the way we're playing here. Like, not to have a shot on target. Come on. In one half. It's a fucking joke. Big up Rich, and check Rich's channel out. It's great bleeding channel. Big up Del Boy. Yeah, big up Rich yourself. And please do check him out. Man United show, talk sense, calm, relaxed. You know what I mean? Talk sense. I'd love to hear Rich's thoughts on Ronaldo and how he feels about that. Rich is saying hi all. Here's trouble now. Dave Riley. Lads, who do you fancy for the World Cup? There you are. Get it into the chat. Who are you going for? Manny, who are you going for? Your top three. We'll go top three.
Top three, huh? Argentina, Brazil, and if I had to pick a European team, it probably would be Germany.
Ooh, there you go. I'll go top three. Brazil, Argentina, and I was sort of going Belgium, but I think England might be up there. They'll definitely be in the top. I think they will, because I was looking at the YouTube channel of them players arriving and behind the scenes show you. I don't know why I just get sucked into watching this stuff, and yeah, I think if Southgate gets it right, you know what I mean. I don't rate him as a manager. I think he's useless, But if he gets it right, I think England will go far because they have such a good team. Their players are fucking a lot of them. They get in a lot, a lot of the top international teams in the world. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I get that. I mean,
go ahead. Sorry, yeah.
I was just saying, for all of Southgate's frailties as a manager, so far he's had this knack of being able to somehow get it right at international level. And in the last two tournaments we played, obviously that was the Euros and the World Cup, we also did have the good fortune of having a rather serene path to the semis and obviously the final, whereas other teams had to, struggle to get by. I mean, look at Belgium. They beat us in the group stage, but they also had to beat Brazil to go through. And they were still far, far better than us. They beat us in the third and fourth place playoffs. So, we did have some good fortune there. But, you can only do what you're being asked to do. And Southgate has done it well. I just think that we are in a bit of a tough group because, Wales, obviously, with Gareth Bale and a few others, they have that team spirit, which is absolutely, unbreakable. And of course, when England played Wales in the Euros, it had to take a Marcus Rashford winner to separate them. And of course, Joe Hart did not have the best day in goal for England that day. So Wales are going to give us a tough game. The USA obviously improving, and obviously the days of Landon Donovan and Clint Dempsey are long gone. But they do have a decent blend of youth and experience, so they could give us a tough fight. The reason why I picked Germany is because from their group, I think they're in a group with Spain and Japan and Costa Rica. I know that Japan and Costa Rica are capable of, causing a shock or two. Spain, to me, look a little bit inconsistent. And I think if Germany get things right under Hansi Flick, they'll be a threat. Of course, they don't have Timo Werner in their team, but they've got this new fella who scored the winner against Oman when they played that friendly. I think it was yesterday. So they're going to be a threat, obviously. And I think all of the, all of the lethargy that was there during Joachim Löw's final days is now gone. I think Flick has selected a fresh squad. And, obviously, with Neuer and Muller still there, it's still not quite fresh per se. But there is enough youth and enough experience to make the team quite well balanced. So they could go a long way. And, of course, don't forget, they've got Ilkay Gundogan in their team. He's been doing well for City this season. He could be key for Germany.
Yeah, exactly. And just I want your thoughts on this, Paul's question here. Denmark in my sweepstake, thoughts on their chances?
They should qualify along with France from their group. I believe they're in Group C. And they could certainly make it all the way to the quarterfinals. Beyond that, it will be interesting to see. And they've just kicked off where I am, but I know that since you're a minute behind me, they haven't yet. So I'll wait for you.
Yeah. Just to answer Paul's question, I suppose, on Denmark, I can see it's France, Denmark. I think Australia might be in their league, and I forget the other team. Yeah,
Australia and Tunisia.
Tunisia, that's it. Yeah. I think they'll get out of the groups. It all depends then who they get from there. You never know. Sometimes they can get lucky. Like if they even draw with France, they could even top the group. You never know. And the topping the group is a big one because you're playing second in the other team. So yeah, At best, I'd say probably quarters. That's what I think with Denmark. But I think they definitely will get out of their group, 100%. Just
There
want to
is
hit a few of these. Go
There is
ahead.
the semi-finals of the Euros, so they are certainly a fine team. And
Yeah,
obviously, if they've got not just Christian Eriksen, but also the likes of Mikael Damsgaard playing for them, they could certainly cause more than an upset or two. And they also have a very tight defense, certainly strong in midfield. And going forward, they also do pose a threat. So watch out for them. And I was speaking to Steve-O about the Aussie squad. He was saying that, the squad wouldn't be good enough. He despises their manager with a passion. So he has no hope of Australia qualifying from that group. So I think we can safely put a bet on France and Denmark qualifying from that group. But, France have a patched up team. No Paul Pogba, no N'Golo Kante, and Christopher Nkunku has been ruled out. So I think they're going to have to depend on maybe Guendouzi and Tchouameni to play in their midfield. I'd love to see William Saliba start, but I don't know. And obviously, without Mike Maignan in their team, who has been performing well, Lloris might not have that much in terms of competition apart from Ariola and Mandanda. But Maignan is a loss for them, for sure.
Yeah. This is a great show. I'm thinking of putting a bet on Newcastle will win the Carabao Cup and get top four. Please tell me what the odds on that is. That's a great show. Do you know what? I was only thinking about Newcastle today, and I was thinking the FA Cup. It'd be a good show for them, and get their name and a trophy, because they need to get a trophy. I think Newcastle, and look, I think it's only a matter of time. They're bouncing at the minute. They're on fire there. Which year is that jersey from, Del? 1990. Who does it remind you of, by the way? It reminds me of Paul McGrath and Sheedy. It does, because he scored the goal against England. So there's two players that it reminds me of.
Oh, so is that the Euro 88 or the Italian 91?
88, yeah, 88. But I think back then they just changed them every few years or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
King, so you legend, great to have you in the live chat. Yeah, exactly. And all you leading legends in the chat, fair play to you. I really do appreciate it. Serbia will be the dark horses for the World Cup. Yeah, I can see them going far. I think they'll get out of their group anyway.
They're in Group G with Brazil and Switzerland, mind you. So that's going to not be quite as easy.
Switzerland lost today, and that's where probably Craig is coming from. They lost 2-0 today to
Ghana.
That's who it was. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Argentina, Brazil, Denmark. There you go. Thinks Denmark going well, Mr. B. Argentina game is at 10 a.m. kickoff. Yeah, I know. I've seen that, and I'm a bit gutted over that, to be honest with you. We'll probably have water breaks every 5 minutes. It's going to be scorching. Yeah, I was just looking today that the England team were training in 33 degrees. Jesus Christ. Arsenal could make a cheeky bid for Almiron in January. What do you think of that?
I think Newcastle are going to say no, thank you.
Yeah, I don't think Newcastle will sell any of their players. Your man, that Botman fella, he's a great player as well. He's a super defender. But I think your man Ramirez as well. I think United, I heard, were looking to try and get him, but they don't need money, so why would they sell him? And I think for any of their top players, why would they sell him? Any of their players, Exactly. I'm just looking at the free kick here now. Callum Robinson, I think, no, is he over the ball? No, I don't know what the fuck he's doing. Oh, he is, yeah, hold on. Here we go, free kick. I'm expecting this top right-hand corner. He's standing over, here we go. Oh, my Jesus. Hits the wall and out for a corner.
No, but listen, technically that could have been considered an attempt on target. And, at least you're starting to see the Irish coming back into the game. So I don't know what changes Kenny made at halftime. I don't think he made any changes. I'm going to check right now and see. All the same. So keep watching. You're going to like what you see. No spoilers.
Yeah. So it's another corner here. Whipping it in. Oh, back out. Right. Edge of the box, back in, whips it out, over to the corner. Oh, nice. Nice move. Come on. And it's out for a throw. Yeah. Well, I'll probably put jinx this now, but yeah, like they're doing well. It's putting pressure on them. About time. He must have had a few words with a few of the players. Oh, nice move. Robinson whips it in. Oh, Egan nearly sort of for his first half mistake, nearly making up for it. Nearly won fuck all, by the way, but nearly did.
I told you to keep watching, and I hope you enjoyed that.
Yeah, close. At least we're up in the right end now. This is where we score goals, people. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll take that.
So it was effectively in the corner right now, and yeah, I think Egan basically allowed Østigard to sort of jump over him. Never really gave much opposition to him, and yeah, that was poor marking, and the captain didn't really cover himself with glory. The goal scorer was on the floor for a bit, getting treatment, but he should be fine to continue.
Yeah. Paul, my ideal World Cup, Arsenal v the rest of the world. 4-0. Good man, Paul. Think Tillemans might join in January. Yeah, well, look, he's out of contract, isn't he, in the summertime, as far as I know. You know, do we need him? You know, what do you think, Manny?
He wouldn't be useful as central defensive midfield cover for Thomas Partey. And if we wanted to play him in his position, which is winger, would we, would he get into the team ahead of people like Odegaard and Saka, or would he be used as an ordinary right winger like, Rodgers does with Maddison? I'm not too sure, but let's focus on the game, okay? Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
because this is a good sustained period now for us. So. And I do like the look of Obafemi's wrist bandage. It's all green.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Because I'm just trying, like the goal scorer for Norway, for me, he's down. He's back up now. But for me, it was like they're trying to kill the sort of the Irish press that's going on here at the minute. So I'm trying to see now. Let's say it's a goal kick. Try to get it back in. See if we can. All right, it's a good move. It's on to Robinson. Nice one. Robinson's out to the corner. He's looking, pull of the jersey. Dowda says, fuck off. Give me the ball. Obafemi. Oh, Jesus Christ. I was a good defending, I suppose, by Norway, but it was good play from Ireland. Oh, Dowda, got the ball. Obafemi whipped it. Well, yeah, did he whip it in? Oh, if the defender didn't get that, I thought Ireland had a chance there. Brown there with the fucking... Could have got it, but look, let's go. And I like what you mean. The green wristband from Obafemi. Ball's whipped in. What's that? Corner kick. Back out to a corner kick again. Oh, Jesus. We're in the right end of things here. O'Shea there nearly got the head in it, but hold on. I doubt he's whipping in the corner now. Go on. For fuck's sake. Get up. Hit it! God, you bastard! Fuck's sake! Oh, Jesus. Everyone's just there. What the fuck's he looking at? Oh, go on, whip it in. Robinson's trying to dummy and drop a shoulder. Didn't work. Right, come on, Ireland! Come on, for fuck's sake. Get it back in. There you go. Hit it! Ah, Jesus. All right. Well done. Brown again heading it. That's all right. Their keeper's doing well, by the way. Their keeper's doing well. You know, I'm not fucking excuses here or anything like that. Oh, Jesus. So Alan Brown.
Obviously, the big risk with doing so well right now is that they are leaving themselves vulnerable to a counterattack, and that's a bit of a risk. But I think as long as they're able to keep their own end of the bargain at the back, they should be fine. And I think if you're not going to be generous in your in your comments towards Egan, I think Dara O'Shea has looked really good in the back three.
Yeah, and you know what? He for me, when I was looking at the starting lineup, I was just there. Oh, O'Shea, I'm not mad on that, but he's doing okay. That's like, you know. I thought he would have been the weakest, but he hasn't been. And in fairness to Egan, who was probably at fault for their goal, he's trying and to pick us back up and get going again. I'm just watching Norway on attack here. The ball's getting whipped in. Jesus, no. We cleared that. I think that was O'Shea who actually got that and cleared it. Callum Robinson must have heard me. They must have had me live in the fucking dressing room, because I'll tell you, he's picking the pace up a bit here now as well.
He is, and I think it's fair to say that maybe Stephen Kenny must sort of have your voice in his ear, because you have not been very generous in your commentary towards him, and I think maybe he checks YouTube to see what Derek Healy might be saying about him, and it's a possibility. It's a possibility. If Mikel Arteta doesn't watch your video, Stephen Kenny definitely does.
yeah, one of them fucking does anyway. Give it a lash, Jack. That's me favourite song. 47,000 plus for a friendly. Massive big up the fans. Yeah, look, come here, the Irish fans, I must say, they are everyone says every fans are the best in the world, but the Irish fans, I've seen it forced fucking hand, by the way. I've been to the Euros in France. I go to a lot of the Irish games. As it says, I only got one ticket for tonight's game, and I couldn't leave the young fella. He would have been going mad, so I just says, look, I'll watch it at home myself. Otherwise, I would have been at the game myself. But yeah, great turnout, and the Irish fans are brilliant. Like they really are. Sing song, no matter win, lose, or draw, they're always there. Big up to the Irish fans. Great world in motion back home, and Vindaloo. Vindaloo. I haven't tasted that yet.
Jackie's Army. I wonder if that's a sort of a play on the Ali's Army song in 1978. I mean, Warren knows about that song. I'm sure he hates that song with a passion. Is it We're on the March with Jackie's Army? I might have to look that up on YouTube.
No, we're all part of Jackie's Army. We're all off to Italy, and we really shake them up when we win the World Cup, because Ireland are the greatest football team.
Same lyrics, same tune and everything. Oh, Christ.
Oh, we're copying bastards, we are. Yeah, come on. O'Shea, yeah, you're saying there O'Shea's doing well. He's got to clear the ball there. I'm just saying Norway are coming on the attack now. Oh, Jesus. Oh, great save by Basuma. Great save. He tried to tuck it in the far corner. Basuma was wide to him. Fair play. Because see, the thing about Basuma in the Premier League, he hasn't fucking, it's hard for him, I suppose, for his first league season to come from sort of youth sort of setup. He was on loan and all that, but get into the Premier League, it's tough for him. And I really hope that Southampton stick by him, because he is a great goalie. I take him as backup. Well, I think he's better than fucking Pat Turnip at fucking Arsenal. Anyway, the second goalie. Great save. Oh.
Yeah. I mean, look, obviously that there are a lot of us who don't really rate Matt Turner. Warren doesn't rate him either. And, I'm not going to stand here and say that he is any really great. I'm not going to say that he's the new Casey Keller or Brad Friedel by any stretch of the imagination. But so far in the games he's played in the Europa League, we haven't lost. And I think he's shown a willingness to sort of learn and improve a little bit. So I take people's point when people say that he's not good enough. And obviously his stats don't really make for good reading, conceding more than a goal a game back in the States. But I think when Arsenal bought him, they looked at his accomplishments. He was, of course, a Gold Cup winner with the USA, and also the New England Revolution's Player of the Year. He went on to become, he found a way onto the MLS All-Star team. So maybe they saw some talent in him and wanted to sort of bring him in and try and help him to adapt. And, he is 28. So he does have a little bit of time to sort of get into the swing of things. And goalkeepers do tend to mature quite late anyway. So, I mean, for me, the jury's out on him. I would like to see him play in the EFL Cup and maybe the FA Cup, for example, and certainly take his chance whenever he gets an opportunity. But, we'll see how well he does.
Yeah, exactly. Please do smash the likes up, people. If you haven't subscribe, please. Every bit helps. Yeah. It's free. Jesus Christ. Basuma, again, he came out and he saved that. Fair play to him. Who do you think will be the biggest flop team in the World Cup? I'm going to go, I'll surprise us probably all. I'll say France because the fucking Mbappe is a complete bollocks lately. And, it's a pity because he's getting the ego's gone to his fucking head, and if that's the case, the French, we all, as Irish fucking fans, we all know when the famous the handball and stuff like that, and they went into the World Cup and they actually fucking. Well, I won't get into it. We know what the story is.
Yeah.
I'll go France. Who would you go with for Jamino's question?
Me too, I think, because here's the thing. They've been rocked with a lot of injuries. When you take a look at the fact that they don't have Kante and Pogba in their team, that's half their midfield gone, half the midfield that won them the World Cup. In addition, Hugo Lloris is still a good shot stopper, but clearly, given his performances with Tottenham, he's seen better days. And although Benzema is still, going from strength to strength, he will need to have a lot more support. So France might have, I've mentioned this earlier, they might have to face the prospect of playing Matteo Guendouzi and Tchouaméni from Real Madrid up in that midfield of theirs to try and, bridge that gap. It will never compare to Pogba and Kante, but, they've got to make do with what they have, I guess. And seeing the highlights, both goalkeepers making saves. So this game is starting to open up a bit. And it always seems to be the case, Del. Just when you think these international games have had rather boring first halves, they spring to life in the second half and end up being pretty good games.
Yeah. Favorite football film? Mine is Escape to Victory. All the legends: Pele, Ozzy Diaz, Michael Caine, and Cy Sloan. Actually, I did see that film. Yeah, that's actually a good film. I'd go Football Factory. Fucking hardcore shit. Or Danny Dyer and all this shite. Now don't start fucking saying it look like Danny Dyer or anyone.
I wouldn't dream of it. For me, it's I don't recollect watching too many football films. Obviously, the first one I can think of would be Bend It Like Beckham. I did watch the documentary One Night in Turin, which focused on England's World Cup team, but of course, that's not really a film. That is more of a documentary in that sense of the word. So it would have to be Bend It Like Beckham. No other question.
Never forget Ray Houghton goal against Italy in the World Cup final. Oh, mate, I'm telling you now, I'll never forget that either. New York, the Giant Stadium, packed. Ray Houghton to do that, absolute quality. Callum Robinson is really starting to annoy me now. Jamino, I won't say anything. You're on the same wavelength. I think the same, Del. I think last in their group with just 1 point. Whoa, I think you're talking about France there. Yeah, it really does. It's a pity, that a national team like that, they can go through the qualifiers, win their group and stuff like that, and then go to a World Cup and have an argument because fucking something. You know what I mean? It's a joke, I don't get it. Who will win the Golden Boot in the World Cup? Ooh, great question, Manny.
Golden Boot. Ooh, that's a question that I never thought I'd have to face asking. If England do go far, I predict it will be Harry Kane, but something tells me that in a tournament like this, it could very well be someone like Romelu Lukaku who could win.
Yeah, great shout. I think it's going to be Harry Kane because I think there's going to be England are going to slaughter a team, probably Iran. I'm no disrespect to them, but they probably will, and I could see Harry Kane getting about 3 goals or something and that'll get him off to a right start. And if they go far as well, he can get a goal or 2 in any game there. You know what I mean?
Seeing Iran getting slaughtered would make my day. Let me tell you that right now.
Yeah, Danny Dyer looks like you, Del.
You had to say that, didn't you?
Yeah. Mean Machine, Vinnie Jones, and Jason Staten. Yeah, Mean Machine. Yeah, remember that? Fuck's sake. The take of wasn't your man? What's his fucking name? Oh, it'll come to me. Your man, who's in? What's your Happy Gilmore? That film, the golf film. Adam Sandler, that's who I'm thinking of. They done an American football version of Mean Machines, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to guarantee you one surprise team will reach the semis. Right, go on. Who do you think, Jamino? Who would be the surprise team? If you had to pick a surprise team, Manny, who would you pick?
Oh boy, that's a loaded question.
Well, I suppose, look, as Paul went earlier on, Denmark, let's say that would be a surprise if you've seen them in the semi-finals, you know?
Yeah, it would be. It would be because, I mean, of course, we know how good a team they are. We just never would expect them to have that je ne sais quoi, that special thing which would take them further. But Denmark are a good shout, yeah. I'd say Wales, maybe. Because
Oh, great shout.
if Robert Page gets his tactics right, and obviously the team spirit they have, it was that team spirit which carried them through to the Euro semi-finals in 2016. And I remember watching them and being really impressed with their performances. You know, I think if they had some better luck, they would have beaten Portugal and gone to the finals themselves against France, and that would have been an absolute classic and a half. So, for me, I can't look beyond England and Wales qualifying from Group B, but it's still not set in stone. The US could spring a surprise or two.
Yeah.
But I still believe that Wales have enough quality in them to, take them a bit further. And I think the work they're doing right now in terms of training, obviously in Qatar, that should stand them in good stead. And the game's starting to slow down a little bit. I think Norway have made 3 substitutions now.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find out. There was a player named Ola Solbakken and the manager is Stala Solbakken. I wonder if they're father and son or uncle and nephew.
All right. Just read out these while you're waiting. Probably Denmark or Uruguay. Both very underrated. Yeah. Yeah, Uruguay, there's another great show. Back to this bleeding game. Jesus, come on now. We're running out of time.
And in fact, Stala Solbakken actually was a Norwegian international himself, played 58 times, but had to quit the game because he had a heart attack. So a bit sad that he couldn't be fitted with a pacemaker just like Christian Eriksen is now. He might have played a bit longer, but he's gone on to manage the team, obviously. And, things, it's onwards and upwards.
Exactly. Look, it's. I suppose they've made their changes there, and it is slowing the game down a bit. All right. I'm just sort of checking one thing here. Sorry, the ball's it's on the right hand side. It's getting whipped in. No, the defense is clearing it out. Obafemi's trying to get it back. No use. Oh, Ireland have the ball back. Doherty whips it in. No good. Come on. I tell you, it seems like the Norway defense are big guys because they're making the Irish forward line.
They are big guys, but keep watching, keep watching. Focus on the football and keep watching, yeah?
Yeah. Come on. This is a good, nice spell now here for Ireland. We're doing okay. Let's go. Come on. It's slow build up, but I suppose we're keeping the ball. That's the main thing. Don't lose it. And no changes yet for Ireland. We're on 68 minutes as I'm talking. O'Dowda's whipping it in. Oh, that Norwegian defence is taking it. Oh, what a goal. Get in, you fucking view. Alan Brown, that's his 3rd time he's at it. And he fucking stuck it in the net. Nice
3rd time's the charm.
Get in. Fucking get in.
Get in.
Yes.
Get in.
This is what it's about.
Right, so maybe that should spark some life. I want to see what Stephen Kenny does with the subs now because it's 69:33, so 70 minutes will be up. This will be the time when Kenny has to make a few substitutions. Obviously, as you've mentioned, Ogbene should be brought on to add a bit of firepower up front. I just don't know if the midfield needs refreshing. Does he bring on Robbie Brady perhaps, or maybe Seamus Coleman to tidy things up?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just looking at the goal here again, and I'll answer that question in 2 seconds. It's great. Alan Brown, like this is his, as I said, it's his 3rd time having a go, and he scores, and it's a nice sort of along the ground, low and hard, and curled it in bottom corner. Brilliant goal, and fair fucking play to him. He had to work hard. He's working hard today, and I want to give him a good shout out. To answer your question, who do we bring on? Do we sort of leave it as is for the next? We're 70 minutes now. Yeah, it's probably time. I'm just looking at this here. Callum Robinson. I think Colin Robinson has had his fair share of the game. You know, he hasn't really done much yet. I want to see, as I said earlier on, Ogbene, I want to see him on. I want to see what he's going to do when there's big guys like the Norwegian defence and stuff like that. How he fares out with them, because this is where we need, like, you know, players like him who are skillful on the ground and stuff like that, and go at these players, see if they're any good, be quick. And him and Obafemi would be great together. I don't think Callum Robinson and Obafemi are good together. That's just my opinion. I don't think they're, you know, what I'm talking about when what you call him? Jeez, my head's gone. The Spurs fella, Troy Parrott. When Troy Parrott and Obafemi were together, they were bouncing together. They were absolutely brilliant, and they put fear in the defence. And I wouldn't mind seeing him coming on either, Troy Parrott. And if he is available, let me see. I want to see if he is available. No, he's
Parrott's
not.
In the squad. No,
Yeah,
I've got the squad list right here, actually. This, notable absentees from the squad include Troy Parrott, Scott Hogan, who are forwards, also Connor Hurihan and Jason Knight, who are midfielders. And of course, as you mentioned, there's no Shane Duffy. Cyrus Christie isn't involved, and neither is Ender Stevens. So it doesn't, I wouldn't call this necessarily an experimental lineup per se, but certainly maybe Kenny has gone for players who seem to be in better form for their clubs right now.
Yeah. And look, that's fair enough, like, you know, but I'd be taking off Callum Robinson, Obafemi, or Ogbene, sorry, definitely have him on. There's no point. I don't want to see James McLean on. I don't want to see Jeff Hendrick on. We will learn nothing from it. So stop putting them on. Stop even picking them. Let's go somewhere else. Robbie Brady, I suppose he's you know, he has found a bit of a spark, I think, at Preston North End, and his last sort of international call-up as well. Do you get him on? Yeah, I'm not. I don't know. The debate is up there. I'd like to see your man, that small bone. I think he's in the squad, is he? He's been very good for the under-21 squad.
Will Smallbone, number 14.
Yeah, 100%. Get him on. Let him have a look. Let's have a look at him. Put him under pressure. We're 1-1. Let's have a go. And as I say, that Norway on the attack, but no, the Irish defence are good enough for it. O'Dowd done the job there. Get the ball out.
And it looks as though Norway are going to make their 4th and 5th substitutions, and Kenny hasn't made any. So if I were Kenny, I'd say, chop, Stephen, get a move on.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. We're coming into, I'm at 72 minutes here now. I was in the middle of typing something about us being this bad without Horahan, even on the pitch, and what happened. It's typical. It's always the same. You know what I mean? You've been doing something like that. Robson's first touch of a rapist. Jesus Christ. We'll move on. Great strike.
Yeah, move on, please.
1-1. Paul's right so far. I said 2-1, but we'll say nothing. Robson hit from form in those few games against Qatar and Azerbaijan, because that's his level. Terrible. Shane Duffy is still our top scorer since Robbie Keane retired.
We're getting some substitutions on, and I've called it for who's coming on. We're going to see who's coming off.
You show away. Go ahead.
Yeah, it looks as though he's bringing off Callum O'Dowda for Robbie Brady, and he's replacing one Nigerian with the other. Off goes Obafemi, and on comes Ogbene.
Yeah, okay. I would have liked to see Ogbene and Obafemi, the two of them together.
Me too. I mean, I remember seeing a few highlights and thinking those two definitely look really good together. But, you know, it is what it is. I mean, Kenny's made his choices. So maybe he wants Brady and Ogbene to sort of give that spark up front. But O'Dowda's played well tonight. And obviously with Brady, you know, his status as a legend should be secure following that goal at Euro 2016. I think this could be a chance for him to, you know, make up for lost time, if you will.
Yeah, it should be. Like, you know, let's say it's like the second half of his career. I hope he gets going. He lives not too far away from me, by the way. I have met him and I have played football with him. And I'll tell you the story about that another day. But yeah, definitely he's good. He has good mentality and stuff like that. He has, like, you know, I just hope his second half of his career starts kicking off now, big time. I'll just
Oh,
read
me
out
too, mate. Me too.
comments.
I mean,
Kenny,
if Craig Gordon's career can have a first half and a second half, and certainly Craig Gordon can still go from strength to strength for club and country, there's no reason why Robbie Brady can't do so. I mean, he probably knows his days are limited. I agree with you on Hendrick, and sadly, I think I might have to agree with you on McLean. I think McLean, he's earned so many caps. He kind of epitomizes that Irish sense of struggle in a way, but I think maybe his best days are sort of coming to an end. I
yeah,
mean, he might not exactly be, on people's minds right now.
yeah, exactly. And it's no disrespect to him. We learn that we know what he can do. There's nothing he's not going to do from now on. Like, you know what I mean? So, give someone else like this Will Smallbone or whatever. Just get him on. Like, right? Callum Robinson. We know what he can do. He hasn't done fuck all today. He's tried. Bring on this Will Smallbone. I want to see him. The under 21s. He's been
No, I'm going to disagree on Robinson, Dell, because I mean, obviously in the first half he didn't do too much, but in the second half, I think he's been one of those people who's, provided that impetus, obviously, and he can also run. You might have seen a sort of a highlight there not long after they came on, when the ball sort of bounced over the Norwegian defender, and Robinson was able to get the ball running behind. I think he dropped the shoulder and sort of got that. He could perhaps have had a better shot on goal, but I think he sort of fluffed his lines there. But he's been causing a few problems, and if he stays on, you just never know. I mean, maybe Ogbene and Brady can get a sniff, and who knows what can happen.
Yeah. No, yeah, he's bad the first half. Second half, he is picking up, and I just seen that there as you were talking. Made me eat my words. Typical.
Commentator's curse, if you will.
Yeah. That moment when Paul runs up the stairs in fever pitch. Oh, yeah. Robinson, for fuck's sake, man. Yeah, exactly, yeah. In fairness to McLean, he always tries his best and more than any other player. But if he had ability to match that, it would be brilliant. Yeah, exactly. I 100% agree. And like that, I don't mean any disrespect to James McLean. I just, we're not going to learn anything new. We know what he can do,
Yeah, exactly. I get that. And I think what he might possibly do is get to his 100th cap and then maybe retire. Because if he, what's the point of simply being picked for squads if he's not going to play? And I would like to see him, get that landmark, especially when you consider the likes of Aidan McGeady and Glenn Whelan, who retired before getting that magic 100. I'm sure he would like to get that landmark too.
Yeah, I'd say so. It's just what I'm just looking here now. I think it's a free kick to Norway. Malumbu, sort of pulls them back. He makes a meal of it, but when you do that to a player, you sort of pull them back. They're always going to go down, no matter how big they are.
I get that. Absolutely. And here's the thing. I mean, Odegaard still looks to be on the pitch, but he's also looked a little bit quiet now, and I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
I'm trying to refresh that. Yeah, Odegaard's still on the pitch, and Norway have made all 5 of their substitutions. They've replaced both of their fullbacks and a couple of their midfielders and their lone striker, whereas we've just brought on Brady and Ogbene, a midfielder and a forward, like for like. So 10 minutes left about thereabouts, and I would love to see Ireland keep their nerve, because I know even if we don't draw, Del, I mean, this is going to be something which will give you a little bit of confidence, because it still has Odegaard in that team and a few other players with the Premiership experience. The goalkeeper, Neelan himself, was on the books at Aston Villa till not too long ago, and he's joined Leipzig as well, because their first choice goalkeeper, Gulakshi, is injured. So, I mean, this isn't a bad Norwegian team, so this could be a creditable result. But obviously, I think a win would be much more desirable. Hard-fought draws and brave defeats will not work for you, yeah?
Yeah, no, look, I agree. Look, the Norway team, they're not pushovers, let's just put it that way.
No.
And I certainly, it's not disrespectful, to draw with them, by all means, But look, I would like to get the win, and they are there for the taking at the minute because they've made their substitutes, and let's say they've probably weakened their team a small bit. I'd like us to try and get the win, but look, let's see how this pans out.
I actually think they have weakened their team, and they've certainly slowed the game
Yeah,
down. But again, Robinson looks. He looks a man transformed. I don't know what Kenny said to him at half time,
yeah,
but it's
yeah,
worked.
yeah.
And
I
of
think you're
course,
right.
with Agbene coming on, looking quite fresh, he can certainly, spring the trap a bit. Like I said, I'm a bit surprised not to see the Nigerians together because I think together, especially I think it was a game against, if I'm correct, Azerbaijan at the Aviva Stadium. I think they looked really, really sharp together. And
Yeah.
looks as though it's Jeff Hendrick, who we didn't want to see
Oh,
come on. He's coming on for Jason Malumbi. And
why? Why? Oh God!
we'll
Come
see
on,
what
let's go.
Hendrick can do now, though, and I think he probably will end up bringing on James McLean for his customary substitute appearance cap. Should be number 96 for him. But I think to be fair, though, Del, apart from Brady and Ogbene, there really isn't any other substitute I think you could bring on to really try and change the game.
Mm,
As you said, McLean and Hendrick won't really offer very much. Do you bring on Smallbone for his debut? Maybe. I wouldn't. I don't see why
yeah.
not.
Well, like the way I'd look at it is, why not? Because and this is nothing against any of the players. Like, you know what I mean? With like, we want to learn stuff about these players. Like, the likes of this Will Smallbone, he has been pulling up trees for the under-21 squad. He's really is. He's playing. I think he's at Southampton, but he's on loan somewhere. I can't think it'll come to me. But he's on loan. Why not just throw him into this game? If he gets a goal, imagine what it would do to his confidence. Now that I
Yeah,
always say,
he's at Stoke City on loan from Southampton.
yeah. Like I always sort of say, just throw him in. Like, at the end of the day, look, I can't see Norway getting a goal, and this is the famous words or whatever now because they've sort of weakened their team with their 5 substitutes that they've put on. Why not just go for it? Like, let's do it.
I
There
agree
he is.
completely, mate.
As I'm talking, there he is on the screen. So the commentators must be on about him as well. I don't know. I have the screen down, but yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I see him, a ball chap. Yes.
yeah, and he is only like 20. I think he's 21 actually. But yeah, like let's see what he can do. Get him out there.
There are quite a few people in this squad who could have made their debuts tonight. Apart from Smallbone, you've got Mark Sykes, another midfielder, Liam Scales, a defender, and Evan Ferguson, number 24, a striker who's on the books of Brighton and Hove Albion. So I think maybe Kenny has his sights on bringing them on against Malta, maybe, and seeing how well they do. But I'll tell you one thing: if I really can't fathom how any Irish team could lose to Luxembourg and make heavy weather of some of their games. And I think when we beat Scotland 3-0 at the Aviva, I think that really was the. I think you and Warren did a watch along there, and I think that really showed how well Ireland could play when they're at their best.
Yeah. This is it. It's always the same. Like, you know what I mean? We play big, huge teams. We go and beat them. At the time, Germany, when we had to beat them, and we beat them 1-0. Shane Long, and fucking, yeah, it's always the same. Then we go and lose to fucking Luxembourg and stuff like that. Melina, how are you doing? I hope you're well. Great to see you. Manny's in the house as well. I hope you're okay and feeling better. That was sad news when we heard that. Manny, in fairness to him, has been filling us in all the time, and big up to Manny for that. I hope you're doing well and recovering well. And our thoughts and prayers.
She's discharged and sort of not discharged, I think, but she is resting. She's recovered well, and I couldn't be happier. Really, I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, delighted. Thanks for dropping in, Miss Malene. Thanks a million. Fair play to you. Please do check our channel out. She'll be off air for a while, which is understandable, recovering and all that. And Jesus Christ, just as I say that, the fucking Norwegian score. There we go. Oh,
One thing I tell you, I can say about the Irish. I mean, they put us through the ringer, and we follow them because we love them, but they don't give us half a head of trouble. What do you say?
yeah, yeah, I know. Fuck's sake. And Keith Andrews, cut your fucking hair, you bollocks. Jesus Christ, I'm fucking sick of this now. Fuck's sake, the defense was all over the place. Oh, jeez. Like Nathan Collins tries. Okay, he's trying. He's trying ahead. He got a bit of a push. I think there was a push in the back there, if we're being harsh. But the striker, fair play to him. He's roughing everyone up.
Yep. He was one of the subs who came on, and he scored that goal. And who whipped in that free kick? None other than Odegaard himself. He has this. I suppose one thing we say about the goalkeepers is that you want them to be inactive for 89 minutes and then pull off a world-class save. I think, in fairness to Odegaard, he sort of has his finger on the pulse of the game to some extent. And just when you think he does nothing, and you've seen him out, he gets involved and he whips in across like that. Has the defense in 6s and 7s. Oh boy.
Yeah, and look, why am I not one bit surprised? Exactly. It wouldn't surprise me if Norway scored again, or if we go ahead and win it. We're gonna lose though. Yeah, poor
we'll see
Ben.
what happens. We'll see what happens.
I'm just looking at it from a different angle there. Yeah, it's poor defending. We need to get this right. At least Collins actually tries, unlike some of the others. Cough, Hendrick. Yeah, exactly. And
no
that's
need
one
to
player
cough,
I did
Jimmy.
know.
Yeah, we know exactly who you mean.
Yeah.
Say it straight. We know what you mean. Dell agrees with me every step
Call
of the
it
way.
out. Call it out. Yeah, I've seen Hendricks there as well. There was about 3 other players there, just fucking, I don't know what they were doing. Probably having a chat about Coronation Street or something. Or I suppose, look, since I'm leaving EastEnders, we'll say EastEnders.
Right, another substitution. It looks as though Alan Brown's coming off and showing highlights of that goal. Beautifully taken. A rare moment of Irish joy. We've looked good in patches, and it is, in fact, the number 24, Evan Ferguson, who's coming on for his debut.
Lovely.
So
lovely.
Yeah, so it looks as though it's a forward for a midfielder. So I think Kenny's going to look back on this game and think to himself, maybe he should have made his substitutions a lot earlier. And obviously bringing on Jeff Hendrick, I don't know if that was necessarily a poor omen, but it is what it is.
Mm. Right, but see, the thing about it is, Manny, is when you bring on someone who they're making their debut, or they've only a few days, they want to impress. You know what I mean? When this game was at 1-1 here, we're sending on Jeff Hendrick. Like, Jeff isn't going to be bouncing and raring for this game. He's just there. It's a fucking friendly. I'm bleeding, chilling out for a few weeks because I'm fucking, the World Cup is on and stuff like that. So I'm probably going on my holidays to wherever he's going. You know what I mean?
I agree completely. I agree. Even if it was someone like Brady who has a point to prove, that's perfectly fine. Yeah. But, Hendrick obviously came into his own during Euro 2016. And, since then, it's sort of, he's been prominent, but the team have faded away. And it's fair to say that his best days have been behind him. And this was the same issue that Ireland had, mind you, after USA 94, when they failed to qualify for Euro 96. Obviously, a lot of the Charlton era players were fading away. And when McCarthy came in, he had to phase a few of them out. Players like Aldridge and McGrath, as I'd mentioned on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. So he wanted to bring some new players in, and this should have been, the opportunity. I would never have brought Jeff Hendrick on. No chance of that. And I would have made my substitutions a lot earlier. I know it's easy to sort of, look back in hindsight and play Monday morning manager, but technically it'd be Friday morning manager in this case. But that's sort of what's happened here, and I think that sort of underlines the issues that you lot have with Kenny as manager.
Yeah, it's just frustrating, I don't know where we're going from here. I don't know what we're learning as a country, an international country with Stephen Kenny. You know, I think there could have been better changes here today. And like that, I know it's a friendly, relaxed Dell. No, I won't fucking relax, because how many games do we have to lose until we hear that this is it clicks together? You know, we don't have world class players. We don't have one world class player in our team now. You know, I can't say we have. We've none. You know, so we have to play to our limits. And I don't think Stephen Kenny's management style suits our international team at this moment. If Stephen Kenny had a few world-class players that you can bank on, and you can sort of, well, he's going to score a goal, or well, he's a world fucking superstar defender, we can work around that and build a team. We've none. As I said, we've none. You know, and we need to do something about it. You know, we certainly do, because I can guarantee you one thing: we won't be getting results out of the top teams that we're playing for the qualifiers. Not a fucking hope. You know, I'm just frustrated. I'm disappointed, annoyed, everything. Like, you know, because at 1-1 we had them for the taking. You know, but I know it's a friendly. You know, c'est la vie. I just want to mention one or two of these chats, just catch up here. Brady barely gets many games now on this squad, but that prick Hendrick plays every single game. It's the same fucking predictable shit. Yeah, Jamino, 110%. Taib in the house. How you doing, mate? Welcome along. Hope you're good, brother. Did you hear about the crab that went to the gym? He pulled a muscle, for fuck's sake.
Must have left him feeling crabby all day. Yeah.
You know exactly what formation he'll play. The keeper, the back three. We know Doherty will play. We know Hendrick, Cole, and Malumbu and Brown will all play. We know Robinson will play. Same shit. Look, Jamino, if me, you, Manny, and all can see this, what do these other professionals, the managers, their coaches, their scouts, their fucking everything else, what do you think that they're thinking? They're thinking the exact fucking same. You know, so frustrating. But that hence why we're not in the World Cup. We won't be in the World Cup for a few years anyway, unless this fucking the UK and Ireland bid come true. But that's the Euros. I think they're going doing a bid for that. I would have liked in the World Cup, because at least it guarantees you'll be in the World Cup.
Yeah. I seem to remember for 2008, I believe Scotland and Ireland had submitted a joint bid to host the Euros in 2008. Of course, that went to Austria and Switzerland, and that meant that neither Ireland nor Scotland could have a chance of really making that tournament. But, you know, it surprises me why they're not being considered, because I do believe that when it comes to stadia, you know, neither Scotland nor Ireland are lacking. And, you know, this chance for people to sort of get an opportunity to play all over the Emerald Isle and also all over Scotland and experience the scenery and so forth. And you know, that's a pity. I mean, I'd sooner play in Ireland or Scotland than in Qatar. And I believe if any of you in the chat are watching, you know, if we could put up a poll and say, where would you rather play an international tournament, Ireland/Scotland or Qatar, all of you would be voting for Ireland or Scotland.
Yeah, yeah. And do you know, just on that thought, what you were saying about the Ireland and Scotland bid, it was actually the Scottish sort of let the bidding team down. It was nothing to do with the Irish stadiums. They never knew about Croke Park or anything like that. And once they heard about this, they were there, what the fuck is this place, Croke Park? We never heard of it. The delegates that came over to actually, like, you know, to see what infrastructure Ireland has and all this stuff. And because look, we have the Aviva Stadium, we have Croke Park, you have down in Cork, you have Páirc Uí Chaoimh, and you have that stadium in fucking Limerick. We have a few stadiums, like, you know, but yeah, it wasn't fucking Irish who let us down, it was the bleeding Scots. Just want to hit a few. Craig is in. Dale, breaking news: a man who took British Airways to court after he lost his luggage has lost his case, and the court sent him packing. For fuck's sake. I'll tell you, might as well tell fucking jokes the way this bleeding game is going. Yeah, Euro 28 we've bidded for. Germany have to 2024, and USA, Mexico, and Canada have World Cup 2026. Taib, I used to be a boxer, had to give up because of my nickname, the Candle, outblown, and I was out one blow, and I was out. I'm here, one blow on the referees after calling the game. Good luck.
Good timing
Yeah.
there.
So, what do you make, Manny, of the game? Sort of, do you want to give us sort of a recap and what you
You
saw
know,
today?
it's a typical Irish hard luck tale. You know, it's sort of like, hard luck, lads. You gave it your all, and we can be still proud of you. But there were opportunities, mind you, and this is going to be looked at as another one that's sort of gone begging. I think you see the same issues that people have with Arteta and Kenny with regard to substitutions, but at least Arteta has a sort of a better talent pool from which to choose. And I really, really, really do not want to see Jeff Hendrick being, called up to his squad again, and James McLean as well. I don't know what he can offer. In fact, obviously when Ferguson was brought on, it was maybe a sign of maybe things to come. Others like Smallbone should get a game against Malta, maybe, but. Here's the thing. I mean, I remember when Ireland were blown away 5-1 by Denmark in that World Cup playoff. That actually should have been the signal that change needed to be made in terms of the player pool or what have you. And certainly, so there might have been a few players who probably weren't quite up to it. That could have been the opportunity. But I think, the problem was the likes of Keane and Given and others O'Shea had retired long before that. They retired after Euro 2016. Then 2018 as well, I think they wanted to take the team forward, but they just couldn't. Maybe that should have been the time when change should have been made. And so we've spoken about Big Jack and Big Mick, but what did you think of Martin O'Neill and Roy Keane together?
Well, at the time, it sort of seemed that we were stalling and, not picking up wins when we should have been doing it. And it was sort of towards the end, it fizzled out. It was just like at the start, it was like popping open a fucking champagne bottle, it was, yeah, here we go, happy days, the fans are going. And then it was like the champagne was left out for a week, and there was no sparkle, no bubbles left. That's what happened. And towards the end, it was getting a bit upsetting and stuff like that. But we're in the Kenny era now. I stood by him at the start. I says, look, we dealt these cards. We have to just go with it, But for me now, it's done. It's done and dusted now. I've been saying it a while. I just don't think he can produce anything with these players. We're going to go into this next qualifiers for the world for the Euros. It's just not going to be enough. Where as I said earlier on, we don't have the world superstar, not even one world superstar to build a team around and just go, right, this is our formation. But I think it was Jamino said it. Jamino said it there earlier on. He said, you have your certain players that are starting, and we just said that earlier on. These other managers know. They know the tactics. They know what's going to happen. So fuck me, change it around. And I know people are going to say, Dell, it's only a friendly. It's always only a fucking friendly. These are your friendly where you get your Will Smallbone on, you get Ferguson on. You know what I mean? See what they're fucking about. Because I'd rather them have been put on this evening and we lose 3-1 than fucking 2-1 and have Jeff Hendrick on the field, Robbie Brady on the field, Callum Robinson on the field. Who else fucking was on? I fucking can't think now. But the same shy. Try something fucking different, please.
I agree completely. I agree completely. And you know what? I like you. I don't see the merit in keeping Hendrick and McLean in the squads, especially if in McLean's case, you're not even going to give him a game. I did say that McLean will probably get to his 100th cap and then maybe retire, but there needs to be some fundamental change. And that thing we sort of spoke about possibly getting League of Ireland games to be played on Sky Sports, being shown on Sky Sports, for instance, that would be a shot in the arm because all of these people, of the Irish diaspora who are living in the UK, whether they're in Scotland or Wales or in England. And of course, I'm sure Northern Ireland would enjoy watching a few of those games. Of course, they get Sky Sports over there, definitely. They would, of course, want to see all of that because it's within our territory. It wouldn't cost you too much to cover those games. It would get some decent revenue, and obviously the FAI would get a lot more in terms of exposure and coverage, which I'm sure is what they would want anyway. And just with that revenue, maybe that can be used to try and improve grassroots football back in Ireland. But I just don't know why people aren't willing to think of this. I don't even know why people back in Ireland aren't willing to, twist some arms and say, look, we must demand better for ourselves because, especially given how we were during the 90s and the early 2000s, we were a team to be feared. So we have that's the idea. We have a history. We know we've got some more than decent players. We know we can play football. Let's try and do something to make our product a lot better instead of having to, keep showing Premiership game weeks on RTE. It makes sense.
Yeah, it's just like we're just being laughed at now. Like, it comes all fucking down to the FA fucking eye. And I'm sorry, I'm probably going to go on a bit of a rant here, but I fucking need to vent me fucking rage at this shit because them fucking fat bastards that are on that fucking panel do not give one flying fuck about Irish football and about fans like fucking me or anyone that's watching this or the 45 or whatever thousand that was there this evening in the freezing the fucking cold. Them fat fucks were in their fucking office or heated fucking seats and stuff like this. They don't care about Irish football because if they fucking did, they'd be ringing every fucking TV fucking broadcaster in the UK and fucking Spain and Germany and fucking the USA. Do you just want League of Ireland? Because you know what? Here we go. RTE are giving us 50 grand a fucking year for this shite. How about just give us double, triple, £1 million or whatever, and you get every fucking access to the fucking dressing rooms and all. And you know what that'll do to the fucking, listen up to me fans, what that'll do is it'll pump fucking money into Irish football. And it'll improve the grassroots. And I know about the grassroots because I'm managing a fucking team, kids team, under 10s. I'm managing them. I know what it's about. You know what I mean? I'm up every fucking Sunday morning to manage my son's team. I'm out every fucking Monday and Wednesday evening in the pissings of rain managing teams. Do you think them fat cunts in the fucking FAI are doing that? They earn their bollocks. They're milking money from this fucking system. And we've nothing fucking left then for these grassroots and all these kids. Not even in Dublin. Never mind fucking Dublin. Down the country. You know what I mean? There was nothing down the country for me when I was growing up. There was absolutely nothing. The conditions we were in was fucking shit. Fucking pissings of rain and fucking stupid kid. You didn't even have cones or anything. They probably still don't have it down in half the west of Ireland or anywhere like that. Like, down in Cork or Kerry or anywhere like that. You know what I mean? There's kids down there that can play ball. But guess what? The GAA are taking them. And fair fucking play to them because their facilities is 10 million times better than the fucking football. And they're a fucking disgrace. And I'm sick of this fucking Stephen Kenny. Stephen Kenny is cheap. He's the cheap option. If you pay fucking peanuts, you get fucking monkeys. And that's what it is. And don't come to me, but Steve Kenny has a plan. Steve Kenny is a fucking plan fucking Z for me. Because he's nothing to do. He's just money. He's them fat fucks that I'm saying, the FAI, they're taking all the money. They're taking all the, let's say, a top-class manager who come in. I can't think off the top of my head. If a world-class man, not even a world-class, a fellow with a good fucking cop on, okay? If he comes in and he goes, hold on a minute, why are you on this fucking wage when we're fucking shit fucking facilities or whatever to deal with, like to bring through the grassroots? Why is that? Can someone please answer me a question? You know what I mean? But no, Stephen Kenny is just there. Yes, sir. Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah, great. Nothing. There's nothing. No one is answering these or asking these questions to these fuckers. I'm fucking sick of it now.
Dale, it's trust the process, Irish style. You know what I mean?
This is it. And like that, and everyone always says, but Dale, do you know what? We're only a small country. That's bullshit. Fuck me. I'm not having that. As it says, Croatia. Look at Denmark. I don't know. We're a small country. Let's look at these small countries. You know what I mean? What are they doing? Well, if I'm the sporting development of the FAI, guess what? I'm taking the first thing I'm doing. I'm flying over to Croatia. what the fuck are you doing here, guys? You've gotten to the semi-final or whatever the fuck, the Euros or whatever it was the last time. How the fuck did you do that? Please tell me. I want to know. We'll pay you money to fucking find out. It's not exactly going to be that hard to find out. You know what I mean? But no. They won't fucking do anything. Oh, no, they won't. It's just a joke. It's a fucking laughing stock. And we, as Irish fans, it will fucking last like this forever. Because no one is demanding any better. No one's asking the questions. Where's Delaney now? Please tell me where's Delaney. He is fucking gone. He's laughing at us now. He's fucking laughing. You know what I mean? The fucking wanker. He fucked up Irish football. And guess what? He's getting away with it because no one's going to ask the questions. Because the Irish people, sometimes, not all of them, some people sit down and fucking take it up the arse. You know, fuck this.
Absolutely. And, there needs to be a lot more done. And obviously, when you take a look at, the history that you've charted, apparently Merchants heard what you've said about Sean Dyche.
Earlier on, yeah. Well said, Del Boy. Managing League of Ireland teams, huge difference than international football. Kenny doesn't have it. P45 for him now, please. Well, Dave, yeah.
Not to be a name dropper, but I actually Anna 1, Anna 2. Oh, for Pete's sake.
Delamani, who do you think is your all-time favourite Irish international of all time?
Boy, that is a loaded question. Del, you go first, mate.
Just at the top of my head, I'll just go Paul McGrath. Probably, I just love the chap. Followed, probably level, Liam Brady. I just love the two of them. Absolute legends. Do you want to shout there before I go through?
Yeah. I think if I were to have a favourite, it probably would be, Steve Staunton was a top quality player. I enjoyed watching him play. Andy Townsend was also quite good. Again, if I were to talk about maybe from the other generation, maybe Robbie Keane. His goal celebrations were iconic. And of course, when he went to the Indian Super League and did his celebration, he ended with traditional prayer greeting as a means of, appealing to his new fans. Absolute class.
Well done, yeah.
Yeah. So, those would be my favourites. Not exactly a favourite.
Yeah.
Kenny brought on Hendrick over a youngster, all about the youth. Yeah.
There you go. We're not going mad. As Father Dougal Maguire says on Father Ted, I'm going mad. Paul, Liam Brady for me. Wales having a good squad and they're in the World Cup. Ooh, we'll see how they get on, Merch. I can see England beating Wales, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was a draw. Merch, disagree. We have a great squad and a bonded one too. Well, that's
together
important.
Stronger, as you would say. Together stronger.
Yeah. Brady for me. Yeah. Paul, I'd love to get your thoughts on Liam Brady, actually. Have you seen him play yourself?
Sadly, no, mate. I mean, he was long before my time, and I told you I only started watching in the 90s when he had long since he had just retired, and then I started watching. So, I mean, all I can do is watch YouTube videos and just take a look and see how wonderful a player he was. And for him to go to Italy and distinguish himself as a player over there, I mean, you could just tell that fellow was absolute quality. And it was criminal and tragic that he never got to play in a major tournament. But then again, neither did George Best, so he's in good company.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's I'm just Paul, did you ever see him actually play as well? I'd like to know that. But yeah, look back on tonight's game. I don't know where next for Ireland. I know where it is next. It's standing by Stephen Kenny. He'll obviously be in charge for the Malta game. If we don't beat Malta, does he have to go for you, Manny?
Of course. It's bad enough you lose to Luxembourg, losing to Azerbaijan, and then struggling to eventually beat them in the return game. But to not get a win against Malta, inexcusable. And people would have thought that things were bad when Steve Staunton was manager, how he scraped a win against, I think it was Cyprus, if I'm not wrong. But under Kenny, they're even worse.
Mm, yeah.
This can't go on, mate. This can't go on. If you want to have a youthful squad, make youth the top priority. Instead, you bring on Jeff Hendrick. It's just as well that he didn't bring on Jimmy McLean.
Oh.
Crying out loud. But not to be a name dropper, but I actually have a close mate of mine who was Shamrock Rovers goalkeeper when they went to the Europa League. He actually studied at the same university I did in back in Florida, and he also went on to be a Jamaican international. So,
Oh,
if you could if I could possibly speak to him about you and maybe have you have a chat with him,
oh,
that
yeah.
might be good because he has good memories of playing in the League of Ireland, and maybe he can offer his inputs.
Oh, yeah. Love that. 100%, mate.
I will
And
try and see if I can connect with him and maybe have him connect with you. Yeah,
yeah, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
I'll look to do that soon.
Craig
He
Delboy,
currently
man.
runs.
Sorry,
Remember
go
when
ahead.
we were
Sorry,
12
go ahead.
points? No. He was talking about us being 12 points behind Manchester United going on to win the Premier League. Oh, memories. That was 98, I think, when we won the double, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it
I think
was.
that's what,
It
yeah,
was.
yeah.
Arsene Wenger's second season. And so, um,
Yeah.
yeah, so he currently runs a goalkeeping clinic over in the States. I don't know if he lives in Texas or whether he's back in Florida, but I will get in touch with him. Yeah,
Oh, great. Yeah, we appreciate that, mate.
against
Um,
France in March.
yes, seeing Liam Brady play at Bristol City back in the day, he was majestic that day. Yeah. Oh God, fair play to you, Paul. You're lucky, and I am jealous. I've never got to see him play, but I've met the chap, as I'm sure a few of you know, and I let him know what I thought of him, and it was all good and love.
Yeah. One thing for which I'll give RTE credit for is that they obviously had some really good pundits, and as long as Johnny Giles and Liam Brady and Eamon Dunphy were there, it was absolute magic. Now I think Giles has left, Brady is still there, but obviously Eamon isn't there anymore. It just doesn't
Yeah,
have that same magic, you know what I mean? And do you know if Didi Hamann is still a pundit?
I'm looking at him right here now. Yeah, he is, and I'd love to know what he's saying. I'm sure we'll see what he's saying, but I think he looks angry anyway. So I hope he's throwing the facts at them, because Kevin Doyle is on the panel as well, and I like I'd say if Kyle Walsh got a hold of him, he he wouldn't be in the best of shape, because I think he's a yes man as well. But I may be wrong, and I'll have a look back at this later on and see what they're actually saying about the game, and but yeah, I our man maybe he might talk a bit of sense. Let's hope so. So Manny, just on the we were talking earlier on about the bear camp. I'm going doing that tomorrow night, so please do check it out. Hit the notification and hit the like and subscribe and all that shite. But Manny, I want you to have a sort of a let's say your memories of him, and what did you make of him basically as a player, as a man?
He was a magician, really, and what sets him above Martin Odegaard is that he has that that innate muscularity in a way to sort of weave his way through the defenders and make himself more seen and heard. The type of goals he scored, with all due respect to Odegaard, he could never score those goals, and he knew how to make his presence felt. He obviously knew how to thread a pass, but he also knew how to get behind defenders, and obviously that goal he scored at St James's Park in that 2001-2002 season, that team was an outstanding team, mind you. I think we didn't lose a game away from home. And what made it more satisfactory was that was the return game at St James's Park. We had lost the first game at Highbury, which was an ill-tempered affair, and had Thierry Henry, berating the umpire, and he had to be restrained by a lot of people, including Alan Shearer. But that game also, that particular goal was worthy of winning any sort of a game. And he had actually retired from international football after Euro 2000 because obviously he didn't want to, keep on putting the team under any strain, given his fear of flying, if it meant having to, fly to major tournaments as well. I also very clearly remember that awesome peach of a goal he scored against Argentina at France '98, and that made me happy because, of course, Argentina knocked out England in the previous round. So, he was just a sort of player who would find a way to get in behind and also make a contribution. Obviously, as the years went by, he didn't play too much, but whenever he would play, whenever he would get his 90 minutes, he was just he was magic, and that's the memories I have of him doing really well are really only few and far between, but they stick with you. And if I'd been able to see him when he came to Arsenal in '96, and also after that, I mean, I'd read about it, but I wouldn't have seen it, so I would have had a lot more memories of him. So all I can do is just look at YouTube videos and just go, God, what a player he was. So
Yeah.
yeah, so those are my memories really. Just I hope you all have a good stream tomorrow, and I'm really looking forward to a lot of the discussions you're going to have, because you're going to have a lot more memories of him than I could ever give you right now. And yeah, seriously, he was amazing, and I don't think we'll ever see another one like him for a long time. Martin Odegaard, get stuffed.
Yeah, like please do check it out tomorrow, people, because look, I don't give a bollocks about this YouTube and copywriting and all this. Fuck it. I'm putting videos and all in because it's Dennis Bergkamp, so I'll get copyrighted to bits, but I don't give a bollocks. You know what I mean? And that's the way I rock and roll here. I don't give a shit about moderating and all this crap. I just do this to talk to people about football, and I love it. So yeah, tune in tomorrow night. I'll have pictures, slides, videos, the whole bleeding lot. Have it all. Just want to read out one or two of these comments. I know put up there, but they deserve to be read. Had a yellow and blue kit for Christmas one year, put it on, and I was Brady for the day. Football and memories, love it. Exactly, Paul, 100%, mate. Dennis Bergkamp goal at Newcastle is my all-time favourite Bergkamp goal. It was unreal. Yeah, that and the Leicester goal up there for me. That like, I think it was your man who he spun was Andy O'Brien. He was actually an Irish player that he done for that Newcastle goal. And yeah, what a goal. What a goal. Arsenal were practically an Irish team back in the 70s. 100%. Yes, they were. There was a lot of Irish back then. Craig, yes, he spun that defender in circles. Exactly. Yeah, Manny. Look, I suppose I want to go home. I want to go home. I am at home. I want to go and just punch a wall or something like that because I'm annoyed at this fucking Irish team. But look, thanks a million for everyone in the chat. Really, really do appreciate everyone's comments and your liking and your subscribing. I really do appreciate it. Manny, thanks a million for coming on. I really, really do appreciate it, buddy. You're an
always a pleasure, I've been wanting to do this whenever I could, and obviously I knew that when I saw it playing on the telly, I had to come on. And I want to thank you for obliging and saying, "Here's the link, mate. Come and jump on. I'll be having you." So it's been good fun, and I've really enjoyed it. Thank you so much indeed.
Yeah, fair play to you. And do you want to give a shout out to anything before you pop off?
Not really. Yeah. I will shout out a few people. Obviously, big up to Del Boy as well. And every time I come on his call-in show or have a crack with him, it's really good fun. I've done a few other streams with him anyway, which have been really, really good quality. Enjoyed the discussions. Anytime I get to have a chat with him and other old school football fans, it's a real it's an absolute treat for me, because we talk about how it was back in the day before the back pass rule was invented. We have stories to tell, certainly Warren and Jez and others like Kenny, Ken and Darren, they have stories to tell as well. It's something uplifting for me in many ways. And shout out as well to Up the Cherries in All Departments, the Bournemouth fan channel. They came onto the All Irish team stream on Tuesday and had a few of their points of view. Terrific people with terrific content. I will be doing some more work with them in the coming days and weeks, and you'll be seeing that, and you'll be getting to know about that, and I'm sure you'll enjoy what we'll be offering you. So, an upside to not having my own channel is that I get to, spread myself and have more fingers and more pies, as it were. So it's nice in a way. More people can see more of me, and in that respect. But I'm going to look to try and do something at least after the World Cup, or maybe in the new year. You will be informed. Just have a few things going on at present. Also, shout out to S. Featley TV, Oris Talks Football, Coach's Corner with Hanno Trollope, Tony Claude Gunner TV, Danny AFC TV, other fan channels who where I've gone on. If I haven't mentioned you, I'm sorry. I'll send you a check in the post. But apart from that, I'm just enjoying doing what I'm doing now. Really nothing much more to say. Take care of yourself. Stay safe. Stay happy. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Don't punch a hole in the wall like Del Boy's thinking of doing. And until next time, I'm out.
Fair play, mate. Really
Get
appreciate
a punching bag.
Yeah. I'll just read out these few last questions. A fantastic show tonight. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Well done, all. Thanks a million, Paul. I really appreciate you popping on. A Westlife sang a song. I want to go home. Yeah, exactly. Del Boy, man, a great show as always. Respectful as I respect to you guys. Seriously. Without you guys, I wouldn't be doing this. So really do appreciate it. And as it says, please do. Subscribe, like, and all that stuff. I'm doing the video tomorrow for the Dennis Bergkamp, as we said. Please do check it out. And look, thanks a million for coming in. Really do appreciate it. And I'll catch us all tomorrow about 7:30. Really appreciate it.